What up, everybody? Episode 25. Welcome back.
Nick is trying his best to do better than last time. I was so fucking out of it last episode, dude. I was like, even if I do listen back on the episodes, I probably won't listen back on that one. It was just, to me,
it's just another one with us, but like, I still enjoy them. They're good.
But our guest today
is Katherine Nishimoto.
It's a really good friend of ours.
We've talked about Kat on a ton of episodes. She's the one who originally sent in questions, like the first question.
She was the person that pointed out the gray shirt issue.
Yeah, like Kat's been a day one of our friends and a day one supporter of the podcast. So like, this was a guest we had been anticipating since we fucking made this.
Yeah.
So it was like fucking finally like so dope to get her on.
And one of the points that was brought up to us about the podcast is like when we have guests on, if they're going to talk about themselves or if they're going to talk, just shoot the shit. And so I guess it'd be kind of cool to just mention like this one is like Katherine explaining a ton about herself and
how she's changed her trip to Europe. And
we don't have to go like into detail. Like I want to avoid that still. But I just want to say like the difference between like, no, it's just shooting the shit, or you actually get to know this person. And in this one, you get to know Katherine a lot.
Yeah, definitely.
So
also real quick note before we start, Coin's new song, Not Mid. I like it a lot. It's really good.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
We're going to talk about this later.
All right. We shall.
Beat your ass.
All right. Well, that's a perfect transition to episode 25. So, we're going to start it now.
We forgot to do that one part.
Oh, please welcome.
Yeah.
Oh,
well, not much we can really do about it now. 1, 2, 3.
Yes!
Welcome to the Nick and Tub podcast. That was good.
Yep.
Again, I'm always fucking stoked on it.
I want that fucking dumb podcast. I like it. It's fucking good shit.
That was so good.
Dude, this is the best fucking thing we've ever done.
What was going on during 10,000 BC?
They thought nothing, but then they found Göbekli Tepe, and suddenly it's
Or was that
10,000
Ethiopia person they dug up?
maybe.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Maybe.
There's a name for the person.
Yeah, I remember hearing something about that.
Just literally search like earliest body found Ethiopia. And yes, I already put my phone away and on do not disturb mode.
By the way, we started.
Okay.
Cool.
Lucy?
Yes?
Oldest human remains found in Ethiopia.
That sounds right to me.
Australopithecus.
Sure.
You were kind of off.
I don't know. I just was wondering.
It's not 10,000 BC.
I'm not good at history.
It's 3.2 million years ago.
Holy fuck. That's kind of off.
I mean,
In the grand scheme of things, that's not even a mark on a map of 3.2 million years. Like that's just a little blip.
What, 10,000?
Yeah.
Yeah, no. But
it's so crazy to think that the world is only 2019 years old.
oh yeah, definitely.
according to young earth creationists, they fucking were.
According to some religions too, right?
That's what young earth creationists literally get it from, is religions.
Who the fuck are young earth creationists?
Young earth creationists are people who believe that the earth was created and then they believe the earth is young.
Is that like its own? What I'm saying though is like very large religions. There are some.
Yeah, like Christianity.
Yes.
Yeah, like
that's what I'm saying.
Most Christians that are hardcore Christians believe that the earth is like 6,000 years old. Yeah, and we're like, hey, what was everyone else doing? Because found shit. Lucy says 3.2 million.
Off that carbon dating?
Yeah, and people always bash carbon dating because carbon only works for like 50,000 years, I think. Mm-hmm. And you can't date like dinosaur fossils with carbon dating because once it gets past 50,000 years, it's not reliable. So you have to date date it using other elements rather than carbon. So people are like, oh, how does carbon dating work on dinosaurs if it only goes back 50,000 years? Checkmate. And it's like, you don't use carbon, dumbass. How it fucking works.
Do we want to do your clap so you don't? When I said we started, we actually started.
No, I know. We started recording.
So,
yeah.
Yes?
Yeah. What do you mean, do you want to do the clap? The clap is tradition, Nick.
1, 2, 3. Oh,
a little rough. We're going to try that again one more time.
We're going to do it again. 1, 2, 3.
Oh,
That
that's
was
better.
Much better. Jesus.
I don't think the first one was that bad, but I mean, okay.
You don't understand the
Do
crispness
you
of
blink
claps.
separately? Like one eye and then the other? Did you not hear that clap? Like
No, I
do
kinda
noises
hit like the sides of my
do
hands.
separate noises that happen here and here blend together?
Well, my ears have been having some weird issues lately.
Oh,
So
okay.
like, maybe that's why.
We'll blame it
No,
on
I don't
that.
know.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
If you guys would really like me to,
I
can.
would, actually.
Okay. Well, my name is Katherine Nishimoto. I have known Caleb since 5th grade. We played basketball together.
We won that
We
year.
both sucked really bad, but our team was
We
really good.
won the championship, and I had a grand total of 0 points on the season.
I had a total
yeah.
of 2, so
And we both got medals.
You had more
Yeah,
time
we
on the
did.
bench than you had points.
Oh, yeah. No,
Yes.
yeah. I literally had more time doing anything than I had points.
I played a lot. I wasn't good, but I played a lot.
You're a very like active human being. You're probably one of the most
try.
when it comes down to sports, like you're the most active person I know.
Really?
Yes. Like you were
You probably were the most
Were.
active person you
Were.
knew.
I'm now retired. Was a college athlete. I'm not anymore.
so you did volleyball,
In high school and middle school, only for half of high school.
you did soccer,
Yes, I've done soccer since I was like 5.
and you recently
Golf.
stopped that. Oh, you did golf?
I did golf for my last 2 years of high school.
Okay. What else? Or was it just mainly those?
I technically ran track
I was
in
gonna ask.
college.
Uh-huh.
Did you really?
Technically.
I don't
That's
understand
funny.
what's technically.
So my school does not have a lot of female athletes
Mhm.
because we're a smaller tech school and it's hard to get girls who are athletic to come to our school. And so we were in the transition period when I first got to my college between NAIA and NCAA Division III.
Mhm.
And so in order to like make that transition, we had to
Like, you had a quota?
yeah, you have to have like a certain number of like female athletes in like every sport. And so our women's track team had like a solid 3 girls
Mm.
and they needed people to just like put down and actually like run in an event just to be able to like actually make the transition happen.
Yeah.
No shit.
So I ran in 2 track meets my freshman year of college.
No practices, nothing like that.
No, they were like, just show up. I was like, okay.
That's fucking
That's
dope.
tight.
So I technically played 2 sports in college.
Good for you.
Sort of, not really, but yeah.
I mean, it still counts.
Yeah.
You did participate. You did show up.
Dude, you were
Yeah.
in high school, you were legendary for your throw-ins. You would like arc your back like at a 90-degree angle and just like fling the ball
Yeah.
half,
Did you ever do
halfway
the
down the
front
field.
flip throw or no?
No, that's stupid.
I know. Well,
Lit-
it
lit-
actually
no.
it works.
I can throw a lot further than most people who can do flip throw-ins.
Oh goddamn.
She
Yeah.
could hurl the ball. Like if she was a quarterback, she would throw it with 2 hands above her head.
That's how I shoot basketballs sometimes. Like I make half-court shots that way.
That's why she had 2 points on the season.
Yeah, no.
Goddamn, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I averaged like in my good prime throwing years because it got to a point where I like kind of stopped throwing the ball a lot. I averaged like 30 yards a throw-in.
Fuck.
So
What's average?
I don't know. I just know my own
I'd say
average.
probably like 15 yards.
It's still a pretty fucking
15's
long
kind
throw.
of far too.
Really?
A lot of people cannot throw in the ball. Oh my god.
I bet.
It's
I couldn't
sad.
do it. If I had to do it,
Kind of want to know.
But yeah. I was known for my throw-ins in college too.
really.
Yeah.
Did you get
'cause-
them even further?
No. My back could not handle it.
Dude, your back would whip when you did that shit.
My sophomore year of high school, I was wearing like icy hot patches to school, like 3 on my back because of like how messed up my back had gotten from that.
Was there like no way that you could like do it and stay healthy? Like you couldn't like stretch enough or work it out or
I was a sophomore in high school. I didn't know what working out really was.
No, I'm just saying like in retrospect, like
Yeah, I have no clue.
Sorry, I'm looking all this up because I really want to know, but I just read something about 30 yards and 15% or something like that.
Yeah.
Nope, it disappeared. Cool.
Okay.
That's what I wanted. The average person should be able to at least duck the throw 30. I don't know. I can't. I'm not
What?
reading. I'm literally reading like bullet points because I don't want to click and read into this. But still, it's good distance.
Yeah. So not a lot of people could throw as far as me.
Why'd you retire?
because my eligibility is done and I'm graduated from college and my body can't handle anymore.
I was going to ask, wasn't there an injury?
Yeah, I mean, I came into my senior season with, well, sort of with, I was in the recovery phase of it, but with a concussion. And so that had been a month-long concussion.
Yeah.
And that was actually my third concussion that I had. And I actually, like the doctor I went to see, they're like, if this wasn't your last season, I would have told you to quit playing.
Damn.
So, yeah.
How did you get them?
First one was so really there's only 3 concussions that I know for sure were actual concussions. All of which were in college. So my first one happened my freshman year. I was just scrimmaging with the men's team because they were like, oh, it's a nice day. Let's all go out and play.
Freshman year of high school or college?
College.
Okay. Damn, you got all of them in college?
Yeah.
Shit, I didn't know that.
It's also because we have like actual like physical trainers and like people who are like checking us to make sure.
Oh, so you could have had some in high school, but...
Yeah, I could have had some at any point in my life. I'm pretty positive I did at other points in my life, but only 3 that I know of because of having the physical...
trainer to confirm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so that one I got, one of the men's players went to take a shot and me playing defense, I just naturally like jumped and turned around. So like my back was towards the ball and I got hit right in the, I'm going to say it, occipital lobe.
Ooh. Shit.
Of my head. So kind of like right where that bump is.
Yeah.
On the back of your head.
Mm-hmm.
That's like where I got hit. That one I had for a month long. I missed my entire spring season because of it. I got cleared to play in our 7v7 tournament, and that was like the entire thing that I did for that spring season. And then my next one didn't happen for like a year and a half. So I managed to stay concussion free, and which is really good for me considering. And so the second concussion happened because in like our opening game of season, I jumped up and headed another girl when going for the ball. And so I was like, I'm okay. I can keep going. So I kept going, finished the game. Following game, which was like the next day, same thing happened. And I got hit in nearly the exact same spot. It was just like slightly off. It was like really close to my temple. So like, yeah. And so I landed on the ground perfectly fine, and I stood there and I went, yeah, no, I think I need to go sit out and see a trainer. So I was like, coach, sub me. He's like, what's up? And I was like, yeah, so I think I might have a concussion. He's like, what? I was like, yeah, sorry. So then I went and saw our trainer. Once we got back, I was like, I'm not going to talk to their trainer because they're just going to be like, yeah, you have a concussion.
Right.
So I went and talked to our trainer, and they're like, you have some symptoms of them, but like it's not like too bad. So I just did like half of the protocol because normally it's like a 5-day protocol and it's a whole mess of things. I could tell you exactly how the protocol works too if you want because I've done it so many times.
It's up to you.
But so then when I was almost cleared to play in one of our games, but he told me I had shifty eyes. So I guess like when they do the finger test where you have to follow it with your eyes, my eyes would shift back and forth while doing it. So it's like I'm staring at the finger and following it and I don't feel it, but it's actually like shifting. My eyes are shifting back and forth.
Yeah.
So he made me sit out, and then the next game I was able to play in, and then that was that concussion. It was super short. Probably should have sat out longer, but you know. And then my third concussion was not from soccer at all. My boyfriend actually, he was laying down on his side, and I went behind him and I like reached under his armpits, like just to like give him like a back hug, basically.
Yeah.
And I reached under, and he thought I was going to tickle him, and so his reaction was to turn around, while laying down. And his elbow came flying at my face and drilled me in the face.
Oh, fuck.
I sat there and I was like crying and I got an immediate headache. And I'm like, I'm okay. Don't worry. It's okay. And then after that, I was fine for a little while. And then I went to my college roommate's boyfriend's house because he lives on the lake and everything. And so we were out boating and things like that. And when we got back from that trip, I was feeling like really sick and nauseous and kind of like concussion symptoms. So I was like, I don't know what's going on. Like, am I pregnant? Like, that was one of the things we thought.
no.
Because I just like I felt nauseous the entire time.
Yeah.
And like I didn't want to eat anything. And so I flat out took a pregnancy test because I wanted to make sure like I was not pregnant.
Right.
Even my mom was like, "Are you pregnant?" When I told her like what was going on. I was like, "No, I'm not. Don't worry."
You're like, sex is a sin, Mom. Of course not.
Sex? What's sex?
That's the most casual like conversation that I've ever heard somebody talk about with their mom. Like, are you pregnant? No, I'm not. Oh, okay. Like,
Yeah.
that's just
Well,
that.
she just wanted to
not
make
be.
sure because she was like, "Well, it sounds like you have like morning
baby.
sickness, you know?"
I don't know. Like most people, well, I realize like I grew up differently than a lot of people. So when now like I hear people like, oh, I can't get tattoos till a certain age, or like I still live with my parents and I can't do this, and I'm like, I've been doing this shit since I was like 18. So I'm trying to like adjust to now thinking,
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
I have the different lifestyle compared to most people.
You had a lot less limitations.
What I was going to say is like with the age group that I'm closer to being with you guys, you're 22.
I'm 2 years younger than you exactly.
No, I know that. I'm making sure it's not 22.
Same birthday, ladies and gentlemen. Same
you're-
birthday.
Yes. You're 21, 22.
Yep.
I'm like, oh yeah, at 22 I was doing this, and people are like, no, like that's not normal at all. So just knowing that your mom like reacted that way to that, it kind of caught me off guard because I was expecting her to like rip your fucking throat out. Is what I'm getting at.
Well, I mean, she's the one who also told me to get on birth control, so
Okay, you and your mom are dope. Like
Yeah.
that's good for you.
Lit.
That's a
yeah.
it's a damn good relationship to have.
But yeah, being nauseous from a concussion is like one of the symptoms that I was completely unaware of until I got a concussion.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, like I'm fine. I just feel like shit. And then I threw up. And my mom's like, ooh, that's bad.
You ever see like in shows or movies when like somebody hits their head and like within a minute they fucking throw up? Like I imagine having a concussion that's that bad, like getting hit that hard where you just instantly like it
I
hits
can't
you.
recall a show or movie where that's happened.
I've seen it. I mean, off the top of my head, like yeah, I can't name anything, but it's like if you can get a bad enough concussion, you get like slammed hard enough. From what I've seen, like some people will throw up like on the point there. I'm like, how hard was your brain rocked? Like that's got to be pretty fucking rough.
Yeah, I've never thrown up.
You've never thrown up
Well, I've thrown
Even
up, but
after
I mean like from concussion.
after the elbow to the face?
Yeah, no.
no.
I just cried and had a really bad headache.
That's my favorite one. Just 'cause,
Yeah, as
like,
soon as I heard you went for his armpits, I was like, oh, she's fucking done.
I was.
she's gonna get knocked the fuck out.
I was. But yeah, so then I went to the doctor.
Uh-huh.
It was just like my doctor on campus. So I mean, how good really are they? But
Jesus Christ.
PhD, schmehd.
well, that's like sometimes like student health and wellness centers, like they really like just don't care.
Some
They're
bunk.
just like, oh, just go to the clinic down the street. Oh, okay, thanks.
Go pick up some horse tranquilizer at the pet store. You'll be dandy.
Do they not really help that much at all?
Sometimes not really.
What the fuck are they there for?
Just so that there's technically like immediate care if need be.
That doesn't sound like immediate care if you're just pointing in a different direction.
Yeah.
Well, that's
like
not
going-
immediate care.
But it's like, so you get like a checkup kind of thing, you know? So they check on you and then they like refer you to someone else. It's like one of those kind of things.
Get him out of my office.
Yeah. So went there. Doctor's like, I think you need to get a CT scan. And then, so fun fact, didn't know, it's not really a fact, whatever. But so as I was talking to you guys earlier about cranial nerves, so one of them's your facial nerve. And so
What is a cranial nerve?
your brain has 12 nerves attached to it that help like with different things within your body. So like one is sight, one is your like smell,
So they deal primarily with senses.
kind of.
A lot of them are
So,
dealing
like-
with senses.
So the one that I'm going to tell you about is the facial nerve. So that's like actually like controlling
Your face muscles.
your face muscles. And so one of the tests they do is they take both their like pointer fingers and they rub it on your cheeks, and you tell them if it feels different or not. So they do it on your cheeks, your chin, or do they? I don't think they do it on your chin, but they do it on your forehead.
Touch his forehead, your chin.
My brain's going different ways. Okay.
They do your head, shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes.
A little bit, but so they feel like they just kind of rub your face and they ask you like, do you feel a difference? And so that was actually one of the things I didn't know was a symptom. Because like I was hit in the front of the face this time on this concussion. It was
That's
like
rough.
it could have messed up my facial nerve. And so for like half of my concussion, my left side of my face felt different from the right side of my face.
Oh shit.
Different how?
Like just literally rub your cheeks
Yeah,
with
but
your
like,
pointer fingers.
but like, was it like
The
less
sensation,
sensitive, more
yeah.
sensitive, like tingly?
No, the sensation. It's just like I'm literally gonna rub your face just so you can see what I'm talking about.
All right, this is happening. Hello. Okay. Yes,
Like
I feel.
you feel the sensation.
Yeah, I do.
So when your facial nerve is messed up, the sensation can feel different on the different sides of your face.
What he's asking is,
Is, like-
what difference did you feel?
Well,
yeah.
for me, it
yeah.
was just like that actual like pressure feel
Yeah.
wasn't there.
Was it absent?
Yeah. So like
Kind of felt like
currently-
hollow.
I don't know. Sure.
Oh, I guess that's.
it's hard to describe feelings to me. Like
Yeah, it's like describing the color red without using the color red.
red. Yeah. But so
Nick is currently diagnosing himself with a concussion.
but no, it helps tell if your facial nerve is messed up or not. And so like mine still is like slightly off, and it got to the point where she was just like, I think it's just kind of like just already damaged, and like it's not something that's gonna like get reversed. It's not like it's a drastic change feeling.
Is this your current boyfriend?
Yeah.
So you can hold that over his head for
Oh, I
for
do.
the rest of the days. Yeah,
I
you
do.
you permanently damaged my facial nerve.
No, I always tell him that he gave me a concussion. So, and it's super funny too because people ask me, they're like, "Oh, like did you get it from soccer?" I was like, "Well,
My
no."
boyfriend hit me.
And it's like it's not like it was abuse; it was just literally an accident. So it's kind of awkward.
He's just a strong lover.
So weird.
It's just a,
Don't ever say that again to me.
he's just a strong lover.
Other point I wanted to touch on, your major.
Yes. So actually, I didn't know how I know Nick.
Oh,
I know
yeah.
Nick since freshman year of high school.
Your freshman year.
Yeah, my freshman year, not his. We found out we had the same birthday, and we instantly became very good friends because he was actually like the first person I met who had the same birthday as me. And so we've been friends since.
We were kind of close in high school, but it was when you went
Yeah.
off to college is when like
we got closer.
we started talking about I tell you like send me monthly updates
Yeah.
of just like how college is going just because I was curious and I didn't think that you were going to do it. And then after a month, hold on, pause real quick. Sorry. Did you just fucking make that?
Yes, I did.
He looks behind him. There's a trash can. He looks forward and just kind of chucks paper behind him and makes it.
Yeah, I didn't watch that happen.
Horse shit.
So
Yeah, when you actually sent that first update, I was like, oh, she's actually going to do this. And it was like a fucking paragraph. And I was like, this is tight. So,
a lot happened in a month because
Yeah.
it was soccer season, start of college.
yeah.
But no, we were actually close once you graduated high school too because I would visit you in the yogurt shop.
That's right.
And
Oh,
I'd sit
fuck,
there
that's
for
right.
hours
You
talking
would.
to you.
It was a long... Jesus Christ, you would.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, you would.
No,
I couldn't wait till
No,
you
looking back on it, like in an 8-hour shift, she'd probably sit there half the time,
Yeah.
Damn.
just hanging out.
I mean, I lived across the street.
Was this after you got out of school?
Yeah. It was like,
So
I don't know, just
Yeah,
random
it was
days.
random times and whatnot. If I
It
worked
wasn't like
nights or whatever.
super frequently.
No,
it was just
no.
like every now and then.
But it was nice because she was the only customer in 4 fucking hours. So
Yeah. So we'd
was-
just sit and talk.
yeah.
did you get discounts?
I did.
Hell yeah.
No, I didn't give. Yes, I gave discounts. It's like as if that's open and I'm gonna get
Sometimes
sued
though
by
I
now.
did pay full because I wouldn't let you give me a discount.
Yeah, but yeah, it was cool. I just got close over the time. But
Mm-hmm.
since year 9th grade, Jesus Christ, that was my junior year.
Yep.
It was like 7 years ago. 7. Somewhere around there.
Beats me.
7 or 8.
I was 14. There you go.
Yeah. Holy fuck, 8. God damn, that's a long time, dude. That's a long time.
Yeah.
That's tight.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
So go with your question.
Oh, yeah. Real quick, when you were like, he's the only person I've ever met with the same birthday as me. I met one kid that had the same birthday as me, and his
And
name
he
was
died.
Caleb.
Whoa.
I made a joke.
Yeah, no,
it got lost in this.
His name was
It's
Caleb.
like, oh god, I don't know how to react because
And
that.
his name was Caleb, and he was born on July 17th, 1997, same as me.
Yeah.
And his middle name was James.
That's
Oh my.
fucking super weird. I was like, you know what?
It was fucking weird.
I was in a
Yeah, that's
band
creepy.
when I was 16, and
we
our
know.
bassist name was Nick, and his birthday was my birthday.
Whoa.
Wow.
Yeah, so we always joked that our parents like split
Our
us up at
birthday.
birth, and that we just got the same names. And
I couldn't joke like that with Caleb James because he was black. So that was our biggest difference. Wasn't the name, wasn't the birthday. But yeah, original question.
Yeah.
Your major, which is like super fucking cool in my opinion.
Yeah. So I just graduated with my bachelor's of science in biomedical engineering. Thank
proud
you.
of you.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so I attended Illinois Institute of Technology out in Chicago, Illinois, and I specialized in neural engineering. Don't ask me what it is because I still don't really know.
But I got a degree in it.
Yeah, basically.
It's my specialty, and I have no idea what the fuck it is.
I don't know. It was just like more electrical engineering based.
Mm-hmm.
So that was about the extent of the difference from like the other track. Well, there's two other tracks, but one basically does the same courses as me. And then the other one just takes completely different courses, and I couldn't tell you anything they learned.
Right. So after that span that you had after you graduated, or during the time that you were starting to like get close to graduating, and then your trip to Europe that you just had, the stress level that you had of the jobs and whatnot.
Oh my God. That stress level. So basically the entire senior year for me was extremely stressful because I knew I was going on this Europe trip and I was leaving 2 days after graduation. And so it was me constantly applying to places to try to get a job and make sure I secured a job before leaving for Europe. So when it came down to like the last like month, oh my God, was I like unbelievably stressed out. I had 3 companies talking to me. I had one literally fly me out for an interview during finals week.
Holy shit.
And so I had to fly back after my interview because I had a final the next day.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was like nonstop where I was just like panicking.
Yeah.
And then I didn't actually make a decision for what job I was taking until the day before graduation. So,
Which is good that you waited though, because wasn't the waiting process allowing you to get the job that you have now,
kind of, yes.
right? Because you had the first 2, I remember that,
Yeah.
and then the third one came a little bit later,
Yes, it did.
right?
So that third one, they didn't even do an in-person interview for me. And so I'm actually blindly going into my job.
Oh shit!
So I only did phone interviews. I did 2 phone interviews, and they basically kind of made the job for me in a sense.
Whoa. I did not know that.
Big baller stuff.
Yeah, so I had applied to actually one of their internships because I was like, sometimes they hire recent grads, and I was like, I can take anything at this point. And so I got a call, and the guy was like, hey, your resume came to my desk. You don't qualify for the internship, but we might have a full-time position for you. And I was like, okay, tell me more. Like,
You're like, I was really looking forward to the unpaid internship, actually.
yeah, and he was like, it's kind of the same thing as like what the internship was going to be, except it'd be full time, and then like it's not just for a 3-month period. So I was like, cool.
So
Better.
Yeah, exactly. It's better.
The way did he say it that way? Because that is super confusing. Like to get that call and be like, you don't qualify for the internship.
Want something better?
You want something that's exactly that, but better with pay and longer. Like,
Yeah, it was really weird just because like I was kind of like confused with the call itself because normally like if you don't qualify for something they just toss your resume, like they don't even look at your resume. So the fact that he got my resume was good enough for me. Like I was like, okay, like tell me what you have to tell me, and like yes, I'll apply. You tell me what I need to do if this gets me a full-time job.
no shit.
Yeah. And then that was a long waiting game because the guy told me I'd have to wait until they posted the actual job, and then I'd have to apply to it.
And it'd be up for grabs for all the other people who are overqualified.
Yeah, well, I'm actually underqualified for my job.
No, I bet. If you were not qualified for the internship, why the fuck would you be qualified for the job?
Well, they offered it to me as in like it's a device engineer 1 position. So like your lowest level you could be, And so I was like, okay, like it's probably like entry level job, like 0 to 3 years experience. I had the job description actually sent to me later on, like after I was already hired. It's like 0 to 3 years experience if you have a master's.
Oh shit!
And I was like, okay, thanks.
How, like, does that make you nervous or does that make you feel good?
A little bit of both. I don't think that this job is necessarily going to be as like rigorous as what you'd think like a entry level master's
Right.
person would be working, you know?
Yeah.
Just because like the description of like what the job is kind of sounds like most basic, like entry level jobs within development.
Which is exactly like,
What's your job?
Yeah.
Okay. So as a device engineer, I'm working on their devices that inject drugs or for inhalant drugs.
Right.
And so like the only description I can really like give you for what an inhalant drug would be like the little nose squirty things.
Yeah.
So like that device, because that thing is what like gives you your medicine.
Wait, why is that the only, would an inhaler not be considered a...
I guess so, yeah. I don't know.
Okay.
The nose thing is the first thing I think of.
Okay. I thought when you said inhalant, I go inhaler. Like, I just...
That's what I think
It's
too.
never come to my head, so.
I literally think inhaler.
She's like the most
She's like,
basic one.
shit.
Inhaler. She's like, oh shit, that does make sense. And you're going to start this job in what, 1 week?
A week. Yeah, exactly a week.
The guy's like, yeah, so we're basically going to have you work on inhalers the whole time. She's like, fuck.
Yeah, so I don't know what kind of drugs specifically these devices are going to be for. I know that they're like the leading company to produce, I believe it's like hepatitis drugs.
Interesting.
I think it's hepatitis and then I want to say AIDS, but I'm not entirely sure about that. It was really creepy though, because when I was trying to like figure out what job to take, I kept seeing ads like of theirs, like this company's ads, like on TV.
Wait, before they even offered you the job, you said?
One, like the first time I saw one of their commercials was before I had the job offered to me, but it was like, I knew that I was going to be interviewed for it. So it's like, oh, hey, that's cool. I could be working for this company. And then it just got creepy where I was like, oh shit, it's like following me. Literally. So the week before my graduation, my boyfriend's like mom and aunt came out early. So we were like hanging out with them. And so they took us to see Hamilton because Hamilton's super big right now in Chicago.
Yeah.
Super big play anyway. But so we're sitting there and I open the playbill. The first ad I see is for Gilead Sciences.
That's really
And
weird.
like I was already in the process of trying to decide between 3 jobs of like which one to take. And like going to this play was like me to just like forget about all of it and like not worry for like 3 hours.
Yeah. And here you are.
In the freaking playbill. Gilead Sciences, a whole page. And I was like,
That's nuts.
are you kidding me?
See, at first when you said that, like you were getting ads for it, I thought you meant like through your phone. And then if you were going to tell me like afterwards, after they offered you the job, it's like, well, yeah, your phone's always fucking listening. So of course you're going to get ads for that. But to have it be on a playbill, like
Everyone's always listening.
Yeah.
Hamilton's listening.
that's nuts, dude. So did you take that as like, because I don't know if you believe in those kind of things.
Like a sign?
Yes.
A little bit. It was really hard for me to choose because the other job that it was actually the job I decided that I was going to take when I only had 2 offers on the table. Like I literally came to this decision and then like the following day I was offered the position with Gilead and I was like, you got to be kidding me. And then when I saw what they were offering me, I was like, you got to be kidding me even more. Like, so then it got really hard for me. So I kicked out one of them for sure, just because I was like, okay, I already knew that I was going to take the other job.
And that one was where? The one
which
that you
one?
kicked out? The first one that you decided you're not going to go with?
That one was in Sterling, Virginia.
Okay.
With Thor Labs. They produce like electronic components and stuff like that. I would have been working with microscopes, like building custom microscopes.
That one I remember. Okay.
Yeah. And so then I was between a job at United States Army Research Institute of Environmental Medicine.
Oh shit.
That's a mouthful.
Outside of I know. Outside of Boston, or this job in Foster City.
In California.
Yeah, California, with Gilead Sciences.
Yeah.
Both of them were a year contract. So I was like, either way, like it's only for a year. Like I don't have to stay afterwards. Like
Right.
it's a secure job for a year. And so I was talking to like so many different people. I was getting opinions from people who work in industry, people who work for the government. And I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know which one's going to benefit me more.
Were
like,
people pretty split on it?
yeah, actually. So it was really hard to like kind of like come with a decision because I'd have the opinions from the people working in the government, and then I'd have the opinions from the people like in industry, and then I just have outside opinions. And it was just like, I don't know what to do.
Right.
And it was also because the government one was, I had been like in contact with them since December. So like, that's why it was kind of harder. Like I had a more personal relationship with them. I'd met them all in person. So it was a lot harder for me to tell them no.
Yeah.
Just because of that relationship I had.
Right.
Like maybe if you put your ad in a Hamilton bill, probably would have chose your guys' company.
But yeah, so it was really hard to actually choose. So my stress level was constantly like through the roof.
Yeah. Are you happy with your decision ultimately?
I am. I actually, while I was on my trip, I like started regretting my decision, and I was like, I should have taken the other job. And then I was like, Katherine, stop like overthinking everything. Like it's fine. Like you made your decision. You can't
Why?
go back on it. Just because it's like I technically wouldn't have been a government employee, yet they liked me so much that I felt like I was like for sure going to have a full-time offer afterwards.
Right.
And so I was like, I should have taken that because like it would have guaranteed me work afterwards. But I think I wouldn't have enjoyed the work I was doing.
Okay.
There's the big kicker.
That was one of the huge reasons why I didn't want to take that job.
That's a damn good
And what
choice.
was the work with that one?
So I would have been doing data analysis for the majority of the year that I'd be working there. And so the project itself that I would have been working on would have been pretty cool. Because it's government work, they're working within the Army. And so they're doing research on actual soldiers. And so I would have been doing the analysis on like being able to predict whether or not a soldier would have a heat stroke.
Oh shit, that is kind of cool.
Yeah. So like, because like my ultimate career goal is to work on like concussions, basically like preventing injuries, things like that.
Yeah.
So I was like, that could have related really well because it's like seeing like the likelihood of someone getting a heat stroke. So it kind of correlates. Obviously it's different because it's a different kind of thing. But
The NFL is going to put a target on your head knowing that that's what you want to do.
oh, that would be great. Like honestly,
to ruin their business.
like someone hire me because I will stick there probably for a long time if
Yeah.
like I were to get hired to do that.
Nice.
Because I'd love to like work for Nike or
Right.
Viscus, I believe, is another company that's really big right now with football helmets.
Mm-hmm.
They're also doing actually helmets for the Army as well. I keep up to date on this company.
So you're more so of the prevention of
Yeah.
concussions. Okay,
Yeah.
never mind. Then the NFL doesn't hate you. The little red dot lifts off your
Well,
head.
they can target me for jobs. I'll take it.
I meant more of a
No,
target
like
on your head.
assassination.
Yes.
Oh, no, I'm not.
That's why when you like didn't flinch at that, I'm like, oh, okay, she's not scared of death. No,
Well, no, death comes when it comes.
Or the NFL.
I'm not scared of these 6'3", 300-pound people.
When at first I thought you were talking about like looking into it and whatnot because of that whole movie that Will Smith was a part of.
Concussion?
Yeah, where they did the whole thing and like
On CTE.
exactly. So I thought that's the direction. You're more of like prevention to concussions. So
Yeah.
okay.
Just because of also like with my experience with
of
concussions,
course.
it's like.
Was that kind of what sparked that interest?
So actually I went into my major because I was interested in like figuring out ways to just like prevent injuries in general. I found out that there's this thing called sports engineering that's not offered in the United States.
Wow.
That's what I wanted to major in.
What exactly
everywhere.
is it? Like sports engineering? Like
I don't know. The little blurb on it sounded really cool. So I was like, yeah, this is what I want to do.
Goes to college, closes his eyes, points. That's it. That's all I want to do.
The blurb on this one.
Basically. But then I was like, well, the United States doesn't offer this. So what can I do instead?
What is like the next place that does offer it off the top of your head?
I believe like Germany offers it and like Australia offers it.
So would you have to get your degree out? Like, could you use that degree out that you would get out there here, or
Are there jobs for sports engineering
Right.
in the USA?
I would say no, because it's not a really like known field out here.
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy considering the United States is so heavy on sports.
Yeah, but that's because they look at it like, oh, biomechanics, kinesiology, or mechanical engineering. Like they look at
Biomedical
it
engineering.
in other. No,
No.
they don't even see it. No,
What'd you say?
I said biomedical engineering. She was like, no.
biomedical engineering is such like a new field that it's still not really like recognized within the engineering world.
Oh, okay.
Because we're kind of like a mesh of all sorts of engineering. Because like we do electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, chemical engineering, and
Everything but civil engineering, basically.
Yeah, we do a lot of engineerings. But we're focused within the body itself rather than like grand scheme of things like a car or something. But
Right.
yeah, so we're not really recognized yet.
So where were we with your story and the jobs?
I don't know. I kind of went over a lot with it.
I know there was a point, and then we stopped with the whole.
I was very stressed. That was your question, was like, how stressed were you with the month before going to Europe?
Yeah. Just keep going.
With what? I already answered it. I was very stressed.
What the fuck was the jobs? I guess we were just asking questions. I swear to
Yeah,
God,
she
I
answered
thought
it.
I stopped you in the middle of a point.
No.
No.
Oh.
Knock
Okay.
that one out. So, Europe. How many countries you visit again?
7.
You're
7
there for
countries
3
in
weeks.
3 weeks. 11 cities.
Dude, so jealous. We were sitting in my backyard talking about it for hours, and she's like, "Yeah," listed off the cities and countries that she went to, and I was like, "If you could pick one place to go back to that you saw, where would you go back?" She's like, "Switzerland." I was like, "I don't remember you listing that one." She's like, "I didn't."
Yeah, we rode the train from Munich to Milan. Well, we rode the train the majority of the time of our trip, but to get from Munich to Milan, you have to go through Switzerland, and it was honestly the most beautiful thing I have ever seen. It was like I slept for a lot of this train ride, and I wake up, I like move seats, I look out the window, there's a freaking waterfall to like my right side, and then the other side had like the freaking Alps.
That's so sick.
Like I was like, is this real? Like
You woke up in the afterlife.
yeah, like prime time to wake up. I was like, oh my God. And so, yeah, I'd recommend going to Switzerland. It's really
You
beautiful.
didn't stop like
No.
it was just straight through.
Yeah.
Ah.
But freaking beautiful. So I'd recommend it.
Yeah.
If you like hiking and outdoors. If you don't.
So
Then I wouldn't
What
recommend
were all
it.
the countries that you did go to?
So I went to England, France, Belgium, Netherlands, Germany, Czech Republic, and Italy.
Holy shit, that's a lot. I mean, you could literally go over every
My
country and be like,
envy
"What'd you do?"
is overflowing. But dude, like just hearing like all the shit that you went to, I think I brought it up on the last episode
the
when
painting.
you went
Yeah.
by the School of Athens painting, and I was like, you fucking saw that.
Yeah. Went to the Sistine Chapel.
What was your favorite country that you stopped in?
Switzerland doesn't count.
That
It's,
you stopped in.
it's really hard for me to say because I had a good time, but I had a lot of things go wrong. So it's like, it's really hard to like.
A lot of things go wrong on the whole trip.
Yeah.
Like,
I woke up with my eyes swollen and like I looked like the Hunchback of Notre Dame. Like,
what the fuck happened?
no clue. I just like got like something in my eye that caused it to swell, and like I had like a little bit of an infection. Like,
How long into the trip was this?
this is once we got to Florence, so it was pretty far into the trip. We were in our last week. Italy was rough.
Yeah, so you spent your entire third week in Italy.
Yes.
So
I
like it
did.
was 6 countries in 2 weeks, and then Italy.
Yeah, because I was really excited to go to Italy.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I'm a quarter Italian, so it's like, oh, this is going to be awesome. Like, I can see like my heritage, like the things that like my family technically comes from.
So, how long did that infection take?
It went
To go away.
way fully within like probably like 2 days, just because I woke up, I showed Lacey because she was the one I traveled with.
Yeah.
And she goes, "We need to find you eye drops now." And so we were like searching through pharmacies, and it's hard because we really only speak English. She speaks Spanish, but that only gets you so far in Italy.
Yeah.
And so like we went into like one pharmacy. We're like looking through all of the walls and like all the little boxes they have. Like nothing's like medicine in there. And we're like, okay, we got to go somewhere else. So we finally find another place. And I just got to the point where I was like, you know what? I just accept it. This is my fate. Like Italy hates me. Like,
well, that was one of the few things that went wrong in Italy.
Yeah.
As soon as you landed.
I got eaten alive by mosquitoes. Nobody told me that there were freaking mosquitoes in Italy.
Like, is it that bad?
I had 6 bug bites on my face.
Oh, that is kind of bad.
Yeah.
That is
like one was like on the tip of my nose.
Oh, awesome.
And it was like bright red. So like if you look at my photos from like when we were in Pisa, you can see just this bright red spot on my nose because of a bug bite.
Shoot me the photos. I'll edit them. I'll get rid of all of it
Skin
for you.
But no, it was so bad. And so like most of my bug bites were on my legs.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm a person who like, if I have a bug bite, like I don't stop itching it. And so like I basically get to the point that I like make it so it scabs.
You probably had a bug bite on your eyelid in your sleep, and that's what happened.
That's what Lacey was saying. Like
Really?
it could have been a bug bite.
Oh.
It went away with the eye drops, so I was like,
That's
okay.
what I was going to ask. Like, that's all it took? Were you down and out that whole first day?
So the first day we got to Milan, it was like I got a bug bite the second we stepped off the train when we were like waiting for trains, because like at the border between like Switzerland and Italy there was like a train stop, and then we had to transfer trains to get to Milan.
Mm-hmm.
And so at that train stop we stepped out for a little while and like just to kind of see like the little town that was right there, and I got a bug bite right away on my leg, and then it just escalated from there, and I could just hear them flying around me, and I was like, I hate my life.
And you have the most attractive blood type for mosquitoes as well.
Yeah, I have O blood, so mosquitoes are more attracted to me.
Didn't know that's a thing.
Found that out from an Uber driver who was allergic to mosquitoes.
Oh, ooh.
Yeah, how are you allergic to mosquitoes? I don't know, but she was.
She had O blood?
Yeah, her doctor told her that, like, depending on your blood type, like, kind of tells you if you're going to be, like, more...
Tasty.
Like, yeah, more tasty.
That's weird. I didn't even know that at all.
Yeah, but that's because this woman was allergic to bug bites and had to keep going to the ER because she kept getting bit by bugs.
How does she deal with it?
So
she's an Uber driver. She never gets out of her car.
Yeah.
her suggestion,
Close the door.
so like if you like to like kind of like prevent bug bites, but also like to help stop the itching, cut a slice of lemon and then like rub like the lemon on your bite.
Okay.
And apparently it's supposed to help. I never tried it, but
All those bug bites and you never tried it.
no. We had like a big infestation of mosquitoes this year in Chicago. And so it was so bad during soccer season. There was this game where literally the away team, well, technically we were the away team, the other team and us, we were just dying. We're like, does anyone have bug spray? Like, we borrowed bug spray from the ref.
It was that bad?
Yeah, everyone was like, there's so many mosquitoes, like they're going through like my sock. Like everyone was freaking out and getting bit by bugs.
That's...
Like you were like swatting them away while playing the game.
Fuck that. I would not play. I'm sick, coach. Gotta go home.
Yeah, except you had to know beforehand.
Yeah, that's true. How long was the infestation?
It was just like
I'm so grossed
for like
out.
a month or so, because it wasn't like too long. It wasn't too long. It was like one of those like waves where it's like you have like a large influx and then it like slowly starts dying down.
Like the butterflies out here.
I was just going to say, like, we got all the pretty ones and you guys got all the mosquitoes.
We got butterflies.
Yeah,
not mosquitoes.
we got mosquitoes.
Well, our cars got butterflies too.
Butterflies
Depressing.
got cars.
Yeah, that shit. But so the first day was when you got like completely obliterated, right? From all the bugs, and you got eye infection?
No, so I got bit by a mosquito the first day, and then the next day, so we only stayed in Milan for like a night.
Okay.
Because I was told literally like there's no point to really go to Milan unless you want to shop. And I'm on a budget. I don't have money to be shopping like that.
Especially on your third week.
Yeah, so yeah, by that week I was like, oh god, I gotta find cheap stuff, like
Right.
But at the same time, like it's Italy and you want some good food and all this stuff, which was also a bad problem for me. I got like the smallest portions, everything I ordered.
Tell them about the raviolis.
Oh, so I decided to order these raviolis. I was like, oh, like these sound so good. They're like cheese and truffle stuffed raviolis.
Ooh.
Thanks, Caleb. Appreciate it. And so like on like the menu price, like it was a little pricier, and I kind of figured because it was truffle, and so like it's like okay, I'll still get them because they sound super good. They had like pancetta on top and like a little bit of a sauce, super good.
So there were at least 2.
I got 3 raviolis.
How much were they?
It was like 18 euros.
Euros, which are more than $1.
Shit,
Yeah.
dude.
Oh wait, is the euro more than $1?
Yes.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I remember it was below at one point. That's like $20.
That big?
That bit.
What is that like? Did you say like? Ooh,
Like a silver dollar?
Like a silver dollar.
Oh fuck!
That big.
you
dude,
got
I'd be
a
so
bite and a
mad.
half for $20.
I take small bites though, so like I cut it up to like 4 pieces.
Maybe if
a
I-
ravioli.
Maybe if I nibble.
It was like the most depressing thing.
Meanwhile, Lacey's eating her spaghetti buffet.
Yeah, like everything
for
Lacey.
$14.
No, it was literally like everything she ordered, she had like a decent sized portion. Everything I ordered was like dumb small.
At what point did you realize that you were cursed with this and that you maybe should have just
Immediately.
followed what she did and you didn't change
But I didn't want the food she wanted. She was like, I want spaghetti. I want lasagna. I'm like,
How do you not want that in Italy?
it's like you don't want like
because she wants
saltimbocca?
ravioli.
Like I wanted like
you don't want the
real
stuff that makes your
Italian.
fingers go together and make your
Yeah, well, it's
flay your hand around.
also you know when you grew up with like different kinds of like Italian foods and stuff like
Oh,
that.
okay.
It's like
So you have more of a background.
you know more Italian foods. Like
Right. Apparently you
Do you
don't
know-
know your portions.
yeah, I don't know portions. Okay, this is going to be a very vague question. Do you know the like Italian name for potato dumpling?
That would require me to know that.
Ravioli.
That would require me to know that Italians eat potato dumplings.
So they're called gnocchi.
Ah.
It's spelled with a G and then an N. Like it's gnocchi.
Okay.
Lacey looks at the menu and she goes, "What's gnocchi?"
Good knock.
I was like, "Gnocchi?" She's like, "Yeah, what is it?" I was like, "Oh my gosh." And it was literally like right before we had sat down too to like look at the menu and everything. I was just telling her like how uncultured she was.
I don't know. Like in
And
my
then
head, I'm just like, yeah, I probably would have done the same thing.
And
Like
then
I'm not
she
even.
goes and does that. And I was like, this proved my point exactly.
So she asked you and not the waiter or waitress.
Yeah,
right?
she asked me.
Okay. Well, at least she did that because I said Tagalog instead of Tagalog. So
Oh my God. Did you hear that one?
Yeah.
Ryan season?
I was awake for that part. I was telling Caleb
Oh, yeah,
I was
she fell
listening to
asleep.
that on the plane,
Uh-huh.
and I fell asleep on the plane like in the middle of the podcast,
Uh-huh.
and I woke up and I went, "Oh shit, I don't know where I was," and so I just stopped listening.
that's fine.
But I did hear that part. I was
Yeah.
awake for that.
No, I mean, fucking no. I would have looked at it too. It's like Nguyen, right?
What?
The last name Nguyen.
Oh, Win N-G-Y-U-N or
I
whatever.
thought you say the N. Like I thought it's Nguyen. Like, isn't it N-G? How do you spell it?
Oh, I was just guessing.
Yeah, I think it's
I
like
know a lot of people with
N-G-N
Y-U-E-N.
or
I know there's
U-Y-E-N.
I know there's an E in there.
So
There's
like,
an E, there's a U, there's a...
So is it
Sometimes
just
G and a
Y.
Is it said Gwen? What? Like I don't. I
Nguyen.
literally. I don't know.
Okay.
I literally don't know. So I don't know. I look at those words. I probably would have done the same fucking thing.
Win's a hard one, though.
Yeah. I never would have got that shit. Fuck no. When in Europe, do you think if
When
you
in
were to
Rome.
Yeah, when in
Literally what I was
good
thinking
good
the
one, guys.
entire time. My entire trip, that was like the one statement that was like constantly stuck in my head.
Uh-huh.
It was really bad too.
Help her. She's falling apart.
Yeah, that
I
mic
knew this
is
was
a-
going to
there
happen,
you
but
go.
I
It's okay.
expected
There you
it
go.
to
You're
more.
actually not doing too bad.
I
Yeah.
expected it to more be me knocking over the entire mic stand.
No, you're doing
That
really
would be
well.
fucking
Can
hilarious.
you tighten
Thank
both of those
you.
for her?
Yeah, I got it. So if you were to go back, would you have a more like heavily based like hiking experience in Europe since you like saw Switzerland and like I know that Italy has some really beautiful spots.
Yeah, like they have like Lake Como.
Lake Como.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's like towards like northern
I just
Italy.
want to
I
make sure
believe.
that's what you
It's
said.
spelled
Yeah, yeah.
GN
Don't ask me how, so I actually don't know.
CHK.
No, I think it kind of just depends on the trip you want to do. Like if you want to focus more on hiking, then I would say definitely like do Switzerland and northern Italy. But if you're looking to like sightsee and things like that, like Paris, 100%. Like that's one city that I want to go back to and actually like explore.
Mm-hmm.
Just because of like the stuff I saw, I really enjoyed seeing and wanted to like get to know more of it.
Yeah.
Because I didn't actually do any tours. Just because of like saving money and things like that. So we just kind of walked around and like saw the major sites.
Yeah.
So
I would be
Paris.
kind of torn with like seeing the architecture and then going on hikes and like seeing like the land. I wouldn't know what to do.
I would definitely knock out architecture first, I think.
Well, I mean, if you only had 2 weeks, I mean,
No, I mean first as in like my first trip to Europe, like,
Oh, yeah.
like
Yeah,
planning
I would
on doing more than
separate
one.
it.
Yeah.
I would do architecture first.
yeah, I'd
just
probably,
to like
I'd probably do the same. But
Yeah.
I would look at like, what'd you say? You saw
Swiss
the Alps, and
Yeah.
I would be like, I want to fucking climb that, dude. Like, I just want to go through all of it, you know, as
Yeah.
much as you can, obviously. But that'd be so fucking. I'd be so torn between the two.
dude, and I like always see like Italy's like beaches and shit.
Yeah,
and, like,
that's
how
something I
beautiful
want to
that
do
looks.
too, is like the actual coastal side of Italy.
You didn't go to Venice, huh?
No, I did.
Oh, you did go to Venice? Did you go in like one of the boats?
The
or whatever?
gondolas? No,
Yeah.
because they're 80 euros for like 30 minutes or something ridiculous.
I probably would have done it. Honestly, I
Well,
probably would have
You
done
The-
it.
also would have ordered
The
ravioli
issue
too.
also is that they're like always all cash.
Mm.
And Lacey and I lost basically all of our cash at the hostel we stayed at
Fuck.
because it didn't say that it was cash only. So we were expecting we could pay with card. And then we're like,
Oh, I thought you meant lost. I thought like you
Got
no,
lost
stolen.
no.
it.
We had a lady come up to us while we were in Brussels, and she was like, I went to take a photo, and like someone like literally took like my suitcase, like my passport was in it and everything. And we were like, oh my gosh. Like, she's like, yeah, I have to like go to like the UK's embassy. Like, we're like, yeah, here's some coins. Like, if we were in your situation, like, we'd do the exact same thing. And it, because like, you know, there's people who are trying to just like scam you for money.
Of course.
This woman, like, she had on like a bunch of jewelry, like really nice jewelry. So we were like, yeah, there's no way this lady's
Fuck.
lying about this.
Right.
So
See, whenever I get to go to Europe, whenever I have the chance to, like, I'm taking my cousin with me because he's been to Germany multiple times and he also speaks German. So
yeah, that's, oh my gosh, very helpful.
yeah, when you said that you guys went and like Spanish and Italian very lightly
yes.
dip into each other, but lightly, and that's about it.
Yeah. Oh my
That
gosh.
must have been so fucking difficult, dude.
The one thing is though, is like a lot of Europeans, like they speak a little bit of English.
That's what
so it's
also I was
very
told.
helpful.
Yeah.
But
if
you
you're
have-
going out there speaking tag along, then you ain't got much help.
But no, Germany, I was sitting at this, so we were at the English Garden. That's just the English version of what it's called. It's in Munich.
Mm-hmm.
And so within this park, they have like different areas that have like a bunch of tables. And then it's like kind of like a cafeteria. And they have like, you can get steins of beer, like the really big steins, just like any beer. You want juice in it, they'll put juice in it. That's another thing that Germans do. It's actually really good. They also don't consider it alcohol. I found that
Don't
out.
consider what alcohol? Juice or beer?
Beer with like juice in it.
Weird.
So if you're like
Yeah.
underage,
Well, the thing with Europe is they let you drink young.
Yeah, they don't give a fuck.
no, I mean, but under 18.
They don't like
They
card.
literally don't give a fuck.
Oh,
Yeah, like Europe is
Huh.
like really lenient.
that's pretty fucking cool.
I think I heard somebody went over there like 15, 16. They were drinking. They don't
That's
care.
lit.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously, you're going to find some places that do care, but
a lot don't.
yeah.
Huh?
But yeah, so at this place, so beer and lemonade, very good. You have to try it when you go.
I just want to try it now. Like, I can't fucking. I'm going to wait so long before
I'm
I
gonna
go
get
to
a Bud Light and some Simply.
No, it's really good. Like, because a lot of their beers are like the lighter color beers.
Mm-hmm.
So like that with like lemonade in it.
Yeah.
It was super good. I was like, oh, this will let me drink beer like as much as I want because I'm not a huge beer fan.
Yeah.
So like I was like, I'm for
I would have
this.
never thought about doing that.
Yeah. But so I apparently met a lot of German people when I think about it now. Like most of the people that I talked to were German. And so the guy that I was sitting next to on my flight, my Lisbon to New York flight, he was German, like, and so I was asking him questions because he was like from like the Munich area. And so I was like, I have a bunch of questions that I just want answered. So I just was like, I'm going to ask him. We were talking like for half the plane ride. It was really nice. Because we both got stuck with fish at the dinner they gave us, and we were both really sad about it. That's another thing. But a lot happened on this trip, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
And so I was asking the guy, I was like, so is that like common to put like juice in beer. He's like, yeah, it's I don't remember what the name of it that he said it was. It was like something like biker, like it translated to biker.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because like people who like ride their bikes like around and stuff, when they stop for like a pit stop kind of thing, that was in air quotes, realized no one can see my hands, that they stop and get this beer with lemonade mixture.
Mm-hmm.
And so
It's called a shandy. It says 2 parts Pilsner to 1 part German lemonade.
sure.
Well, because you can buy shandies out. Like I think I've pointed them out to you once before.
Yeah,
They're
they sell
super
'em.
Super light.
But
Takes
this
you
is
like
like
12 to get a fucking buzz if maybe you get a little
no,
drunk
this is
off
like
of it.
literally they just like they pour their beer and then they just like pour some juice in it.
That's tight.
But so I was asking him about it and he was like, yeah, so like bikers, when they stop to like get a drink, like that's what they get. And so people don't consider it like an alcoholic drink because these people are riding their bikes afterwards. So yeah, it's really weird.
We're
But
talking about bicycle bikers, correct? Or are we
yes,
talking about
like a
okay.
bicycle.
I was thinking like
Motorcycle.
You're thinking like motorcycle.
German
like,
biker gangs.
Yeah. But
Were you getting to a point when you were bringing up the English park,
the English Garden.
English garden? Because you were like, because I remember what you said
yeah.
happened.
Yeah, so back to that story. So in the English Garden, I was sitting at one of these tables. It was the only table that was available in the shade because I was sitting in the sun and this lady got up at the table next to me. So I like hopped over there real quick and like another lady at a different table saw me and she's like kind of like, oh, that was smart. Like I was like, yeah, I know it's hot. It was super hot that day. We were like sweating in the sun. And so I'm sitting there and I'm waiting for Lacey to come back with the stein. And this old lady comes up to me and like her friend's kind of like following behind her. And she starts speaking to me in German. I look at her and I go, no, like English. Continue speaking in German. And I was like, and she's like pointing to the chair. So I'm like registering that she's asking about like if she can sit here. And I'm like, I need like this chair, like this one chair. And it was just like this whole like
Language barrier?
charade going on. And I'm just like, I don't know what's happening. And so she sits down next to me and I went, okay, so this is happening now. Her friend sits down. Like, Lacey comes back and I was like, yeah, this lady kept talking to me in German and she kind of just sat here. I told her I needed one chair, so she sat here. She's like, okay, whatever.
How old was she?
The lady?
Yeah.
Oh, easily in her 70s.
did you even try any of like, you know how you can do the speak to text kind of thing and it translate
so
it?
we didn't find out until we were in Italy that you can actually, if you download like Google Translate, and if you download different languages ahead of time, you can use your camera and it'll like automatically like change the words.
Shit,
it's really
that's
cool. We met a Canadian who told us about it when we were like getting ready to leave Venice. So it was like literally the very end of our trip and we're like, this could have helped us so much while we were in Germany.
You would have known that you only got 3 ravioli with every order.
No, it didn't say. It didn't say that.
I know.
That I know. But so this lady just sits down and then like her 2 other old friends come too. So it's just like this group of 4 old women. But like while she was waiting, she like turned to me because Championship League just ended. And she was like, oh, like congratulations. And I was like, wrong English.
The language.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, thank you. Okay.
It's so fucking
And then she was like trying to talk more about like soccer and like, I think she said she was a coach, but then I thought that would be really odd considering like women's soccer, especially in Europe, still like isn't really that big.
Yeah.
So it was really
and she's
confusing.
70.
Yeah, so it didn't really make sense. But then like the other old women came and like they did cheers and like they did their cheers towards us and we're like, okay. And then like the old lady that initially sat next to me just like kept getting closer and closer to me, like pushing me out of my own chair.
That's just, you keep bringing up stories that just sound like you didn't have the greatest time when you went out there.
No, this is what I mean. Like I had a really good time, but there were a lot of things that just like.
So the majority of it was good. It was just a lot of, because for me, from learning, because I haven't talked to you about this trip so far, everything has just been things that have gone wrong. I haven't like.
I got stuck in the Netherlands
See?
because of a public transportation strike.
It just keeps going.
I told you a lot went wrong.
Yeah.
Thankfully, my cousin lives in the Netherlands right now. Like actual cousin.
Yeah.
And so I had seen her the day before and she had mentioned the strike to me. And I was like, okay, like I'll ask around, like make sure. I asked. Everyone seemed to think it wouldn't be affected. It was affected. And so I'm like sitting at the train station and I'm like trying to hook up to their Wi-Fi so I can call her and be like, hey, can I stay with you? And so I like finally got a hold of her and everything. And she's like, yeah, like just get like, if you can get over here, like that's totally fine. Like you can stay here, like everything. So we had to take the train to the airport because I was the only train running. And then from the airport, take a taxi to my cousin's house.
That's all super expensive, I'm assuming.
So the train to the airport was only like €4. And
That's
then
not bad.
my cousin was nice enough to pay for the taxi.
Oh, that's sweet of her.
Which-
Him? Her?
Her.
Her.
So that saved us €100.
Holy
Yeah.
shit. Split or
All to like that trip was
that
like
trip?
€100.
Oh my fucking God.
Yeah.
That's how long was the ride?
Maybe like 30 minutes.
Okay, that makes sense, especially in a taxi. Jesus
And
Christ,
she was like,
dude.
it's probably going to be, the price is probably going to be jacked up right now too because all public transportation's down.
Damn.
So negative aspects to the side. What were some of the parts of the trip where you were like the most like astounded or taken aback or like
The Alps.
happy?
The waterfall.
When did you smile in Europe, Catherine?
So
She's like,
I have
3
like,
times.
I have like 2 fun stories.
That's it.
I have more, but like 2
Okay.
that are like,
That stand out.
like, dang, like that really happened kind of
Yeah, yeah.
thing. So on the train from Berlin to Prague, Lacey and I, we got on the train and we sat in like one of like the little booths that they have, I guess you could say. So like imagine like the train car from Harry Potter, how they have like the sections. It's like that.
Yeah.
And so then there's like this hallway. And so we go and we sit down because we're like, okay, like this one's open. Like we didn't know if like people had them reserved, like whatever. So we sat down. Within like the first like stop or two, someone comes into our thing and tells us that they have like reserved seats in there. And like it was filled. Like there were 6 people in there. And Lacey and I were the only 2 that didn't speak German in there, and they were all speaking in German. And Lacey and I just stood there like, or sat there looking at each other like, what the heck is going on? And then eventually someone who spoke English said something about like 2 reserved seats in here, and like nobody was moving. And I was like, we'll just go. Like, we'll just make this easier. Like, you guys can have these seats. Like, you have it reserved. Like, that's fine. So before that, there was like the booth next to us was like really loud and rambunctious. So we were like, oh, like this is going to be a long train ride. Little to come find out, we befriended those people.
Oh, nice.
So while we were standing in the hallway, literally we have like our rolling bags and like our backpacks, and we're just standing in the hallway. And like, we can't go anywhere. There's like no seats. We literally have people going by us because they're trying to find seats. So we just stood in the hallway. We're like, there's no point to look. So one of the guys from that group that's like really loud starts talking to us. And so we start talking back to him. This guy has a tattoo of Australia on his like arm. And apparently he loves Australia. This is a German guy.
Okay.
He went to South America to teach English.
And he's German.
And he's German, like
And he
from
loves
Germany.
Australia.
Holy shit. All of that was okay.
So this guy's like talking to us. Also, his name is Eustace. And he told Lacey his name was Justice.
Wait, say that part again?
So he was like trying to tell Lacey what his name was.
Okay.
And he was saying Justice. But his name's Eustace.
Why didn't he just...
Because it's like the same thing.
Yeah.
Like in German and then English. But so he kept saying Justice. And like he'd do like the whole arm motion, like Justice.
Jesus Christ.
And so by that point, when the whole name thing was going on, we had already like befriended a lot of them and stuff because it was a group of 12 guys. And so I was talking to one of the other guys that's like spoke English really well. And I was like, is his name really Justice? He's like, no, it's Eustace. I was like, oh, okay. That makes a lot more sense now. But so the guy's like talking to us, and then he's like, oh, do you want a shot? And we're like of alcohol? He's like, yeah. And he pulls out this carrot bag, like the vegetable carrot shaped.
You got to mention how he was dressed.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't dressed like that. No.
Oh, he wasn't?
No. It was this carrot bag, and he unzips the bag, and there's a bunch of little shooter bottles. And he's like, do you want one? And I was like, sure. Like, okay. And then he's like, oh, but you have to like pay for it. And we're like, how come? And he goes, because this guy points to a guy in a bunny costume.
What the fuck is going on right now, dude? Who did you meet?
Points to this guy in a bunny costume and says he has to raise money. And we're like, what? So we find out this is a bachelor party.
Oh.
So we didn't know this until we
sense.
found out like that he had to raise money because so what they did was they kidnapped their friend.
Is this a tradition or is it the way they did it?
This is just what they did. They kidnapped their friend and they told him, you either have to wear this bunny suit or jump in the lake. So the guy jumps in the lake.
Uh-huh.
And then they still made him wear the bunny suit.
Okay.
Because they like took his clothes.
Yeah.
And they're like, you have to wear the bunny suit. So he's wearing this bunny suit. And so he has to raise money because they kidnapped him. He has no money, no clothes. Literally, like, what he had on was, like, the extent of what he had.
Oh, shit.
And
That's
so
fucking cool.
So they told him.
Carrot bag with shooter bottles.
Yeah. And so they told him he has to raise money by selling them.
Yeah.
And so when we found that out, that he was wearing a bunny suit, we were like, oh, we don't care about the alcohol anymore. We want to see him dance.
You're an asshole.
He's in a bunny suit. Why the heck not? Like,
yeah.
So we told him we want to see him dance. And he's like, okay, like, I'll like talk to him about it. And so he told him. And so like he comes out into the hallway and he's like, okay, like how much money do you guys have? And so I only like pulled out like 50 cents. Because I just wanted to see the
That's all I had
bunnies.
after my raviolis.
This is before raviolis, thank you.
Uh-huh.
But so I just
I'm
was
sorry,
like,
I'm so stuck
why
on
not?
that. I'm just fucking, that sucks that you paid $20-something for
I know.
and you probably like didn't feel a difference of.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Okay, go
They were
on.
really good though.
So you give him the 50 cents.
No, I don't think he even took my 50 cents.
Oh.
But so he was like, no, I'm not going to dance for that. And we're like, oh, like, come on. Like, you need money. You have no money. So
You
we're
have
like,
no clothes, fool.
yeah. So we were like trying to be like, hey, like, come on. Like, you need any money you can get. And like, he was like, oh no, like, I don't strip. Like, we're like, no, we just want you to dance. Like, we don't need a strip show. And then he was like, for a lap dance, it's going to be €100. And we're like, we don't want a lap dance. We just want to see you dance.
Yeah.
And these guys were all like drunk too. So keep that in mind. And so they had this thing. They had little gold pirate coins that you'd just like get at a party store. And they told him that the more gold coins he had, the better the stripper he'd get.
Okay.
And so he really wanted the gold coins more than the actual money.
Yeah.
And so their coin master, who is the keeper of the coins,
I love this group so much.
this is the one that I talk to the majority of the time, just because like he was like one of the best English speakers and also like not plastered. And so he was the coin master and he was like, I'll give him 10 coins if he does a dance. And we're like, you hear this? You'll get 10 gold coins if you do a dance. Yeah. So he starts dancing. Like they put on music for him and he starts dancing. We're in the hallway of this train car.
Yeah.
The hallway's literally like only big enough for people to pass like chest to chest. Like that's how big it is.
Yeah.
And so he's dancing in this hallway and decides to play leapfrog over Eustace while he's not prepared and has a beer in his hand. Jumps over him, knocks him like completely like splat on the ground and spills his beer all over the hallway. And then like continues dancing in the process of this. And then he was like finally done and like beer was all over the place and everything. Like it splashed onto me and I was just like, okay, like I don't care. This was just a great show. And so he gives him his gold coins, and then you didn't see him the rest of the time. He was so happy with his gold coins. He's like, I don't need to raise money. Like, I have my 10 gold coins.
What a fucking cool ass idea for a
Dude,
bachelor
right?
party.
Fucking coin master.
Yeah. And so, like, in the process of, like, all of this, like, we got to try this, like, northern German liquor that's, like, made from these berries that take, like, 7 years to grow.
Oh, shit.
I have no idea. That's what the guy told us. So who knows if he was lying.
True.
But I got a free beer out of them spilling the beer on me. So that was nice. Because they gave me one of their beers. But yeah, they were all just like drinking. Oh. And then by the end of the train ride.
How long was this train ride?
Like 4 hours.
Holy shit. Okay.
So at the, like towards the end of the train ride, I was in like, because they had 2 of the little like booths. And like, so I went to like the other one and I started talking to one of the guys and he like hands me €2 and I was like, what's this for? He's like, get shots. And I was like, okay, so I get 2 shots. And so I like hand him both of them. He's like, no, like you take one. I was like, okay. And so he goes, what's the number on the bottom? I was like, what? He's like, there's a number on the bottom. What is it? I was like, 12. He's like, okay. And starts hitting my bottle with his bottle. Like the top, like the bottom to the cap. And just hitting it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the heck is going on? So like, first off, like I'm literally standing there like super confused. And he's just doing this. And then he like takes off the cap and sticks it on his nose. And I'm like, what is happening? I'm literally just standing here with this bottle. Like, what is happening? He's like, you do the same. And I'm like, what? He's like, do the same. And so like the other guys are like, come on. And I'm like, what is going on?
So, okay.
And like, I couldn't get the cap to stay on my nose. I don't know why. And so afterwards, he's like, stick it between your teeth, like the bottle. So you hold it just with your teeth. And I was like, okay. And so I do that. He then like hits his bottle against my bottle. And then he like leans back and takes the shot. And I was like, what? and so like, that's what you do. And he was just like, yeah, you just do it. And then you take the bottle out once you finish it. I was like, okay. So
Did they explain what that is?
No.
I've never seen or heard of that.
Seems frantic.
Well, when you have no idea what's going on, it was.
Yeah.
I wonder what stuff that we do out here would make them think we're fucking crazy.
Oh, it was hysterical because they had to keep telling us that they weren't Nazis.
Okay.
It was so interesting. I was like, we don't think you are. Like, he's
so
like, we're not
odd.
Nazis. We're not Nazis. And I was like, okay.
You know
cool.
who says that too much? Nazis.
But it was funny because like then they would like elaborate every now and then, and they were like, oh, like that was in the past. Like even if it was like my great grandpa, like that's not me. Like I'm not a Nazi. We're like,
fuck.
Okay.
See, people out here throw that word around, but over there, when it's your grandparents.
Well, and then they're like, we don't associate with Hitler. And then one of them's like, he's Austrian. He's not even from Germany. I was like, okay, like we don't think
I can see this is still an ongoing debate out there.
Yeah, it was so funny though. And then so they like got Lacey's number, like a few of them, and then like one had my number because he asked for the responsible one's phone number, which is me, of course. Because he was coin master, he was responsible one of their group. And so because they invited us to go paintballing with them, which we didn't go to. But apparently they made the Bachelor run like the gauntlet and they all just shot at him.
Oh my God.
But so, sorry, I just like nailed the microphone.
You're good, dude.
But so after they went paintballing, they were like planning to go out that night. And so that's like the one night Lacey and I actually went out to drink. And so they went to 3 different bars trying to find us. And so we finally found them and like, we were all just like in this club, just like having a good time and like all dancing together and everything.
Fucking cool, dude.
And then like afterwards we just hung out with them for a little while and literally Lacey and I got back to our hostel at 6:30 in the morning. We were out since 11. Like that's how long partying goes on.
11 like at night or 11 in the morning?
At night.
Okay.
No wonder Rachel's always fucking drunk in the Ukraine.
Yeah.
Europeans like party hard for a really long time.
How's their music? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, it was good. It was really funny. We went to this one bar and they started playing music from the Grease soundtrack.
You like American? You like?
It was just so funny. We were like,
John Travolta, yes?
like summer loving happened so fast. We're like, is this really happening right
I mean,
now?
that's kind of cool because it's like
the
relatable
entire
for you.
crowd was singing to it.
Yeah.
That's weird.
We were like,
Can you?
okay. It was super funny though.
And that's still, this whole thing is still part of the one good thing that happened, right?
Yeah.
What's the other thing? Or is it?
It was the
first thing-
train and then like going out.
Oh, okay.
Because it was like
So it was just a
day
mixture of
kind
like
apart.
hanging out with them and whatnot.
Yeah, they were a super cool group of guys.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Oh shit. But that was it? Like those are the
Out
only
of the 21 days out there was a good one.
We actually ended up meeting 2 other girls that were like right around our age while we were in Amsterdam.
Mm-hmm.
And they were staying in the same hostel room as us. And so we got to do one of those little paddle boats with them.
That's cool.
And so it was just like the funniest thing because like actual boats have the right of way. So you have to like pull to the side. And it was just so funny. At one point we like got in we had to go like in a circle because like we were just like stuck.
Mm-hmm.
But we also had a boat like the boat captain like give us like a thumbs down and like a frown, and then he's like, no, like you shouldn't be doing that, just because we wanted to go in the weeping willow tree.
I don't. What's the problem with that?
I don't know, he was just like, no, like you shouldn't be doing that, you shouldn't be in the tree.
Oh, the
We're
2
like-
girls that you went with, did they speak English?
Yeah, they were from Florida,
Oh, okay.
so
Okay,
it was really nice.
So they
to get
don't
to
speak
meet.
English. They speak
Yeah.
they speak Florida
don't.
language,
They
whatever the fuck is out there.
Nice.
Whole different country. It's a whole dude. Florida's a fucking weird place. With what's the whole thing on Twitter where you can look
you
up?
Google your birthday.
Oh yeah,
And then Florida man.
I tried that
Yeah.
and I wasn't satisfied with my outcome.
What was yours?
I don't remember, but I wasn't satisfied with it.
Mine was a dude tied a gun to a weather balloon and then killed himself, and the gun flew away after he shot himself, so people thought it was a
What?
murder. They didn't know it was a suicide.
Oh my gosh. Finds gun a mile away.
Dude, literally the only reason they found out it was a suicide was because of like this, like when he shot himself, blood got on the string of the balloon and left a trail of blood from the string.
Fucking idiot. So with those girls, was that it? Just you guys went on the boat ride? And
Yeah, we just hung out with them. Like it was just like nice to have like people to like hang out with.
Did you like get their social media or anything?
Yeah, actually we followed them on Instagram.
That's so fucking cool. I would love that, to like get a bunch of different followers from like different fucking countries, even if they are like United States. Like, yeah, we met back in fucking Germany or whatever.
yeah,
There was actually a dude I went to, what is it, LACMA? I think it is. Yeah. LACMA's the place with like all those lights.
Yes.
Yeah. And there was a dude from Amsterdam there. And he like kept making jokes about the art to me and Joel when we were there, because we went to the museum right by it. And he was just like in America by himself, like wanted to travel and came out here. And dude, and like the dude was crazy. Like he didn't give a fuck about like security or anything. So
Yeah.
like you'd go over to the lights and like people aren't allowed to like really like lean on him or touch him much or anything. And homeboy jumps up on top of him and is hanging off it like Mary Poppins. He's like, take my picture, take my picture. And we're like, okay. And security's like, get off. And he's like, go away. And we ended up getting him on Instagram, and he's a club promoter in Amsterdam. That's his thing. And I
Dang.
still see him on my TL. He'll like
Should've told me
like my
sooner.
pictures and stuff. Dude, I know. I didn't even think of it.
I don't. Yeah, I was gonna think like, do I have any family out in that area? But I don't actually know anybody out there. So
That's okay.
yeah.
I met up with I met up also with my grandpa's cousin and his husband at the same time as my cousin, but
Grandpa's cousin. Wait, what?
Grandpa's
Yeah,
cousin
my
and
grandpa's
his
cousin.
husband.
Okay.
and his husband.
Okay. At the same time you met up with your cousin?
Yeah, because they were also in Amsterdam at the same time.
How fucking random.
Yeah.
That's cool. What'd you guys do?
We just went to this, it's called like Food Holland.
Mhm.
It's basically like a fancy food court. And that's what we
That
did.
sounds nice.
Yeah.
I'm so like okay, so all that information, like I'm going over all the different, and you've only explained what, 3 like the bad stories. You've explained Italy, and then you've explained the one good story with those
Prague.
guys, and then that there's
And
so
Amsterdam a
much
little.
more that you did, and I'm just like, I wish I want to experience shit like that. I
Dude.
really want to go really
Yeah.
fucking bad,
Yeah. I
but
feel that.
yeah.
It's worth it, and it's really not that difficult to do with a budget. People
Yeah.
think it's really hard to travel abroad for like not a lot of money. It's actually really easy.
Yeah, no, it's super affordable.
Dude, you did it like when you told me how much you spent, I was like fully fucking
how much
impressed.
did you spend?
Max of like 2,000.
That's not bad.
For 3 weeks.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy. How much was your flight?
This part pissed me off.
So it was so I booked them at different times. So our flight from Chicago to London was like $184. And then from Rome to New York was like 230 or something.
I don't understand.
Yeah.
You just randomly found these?
Yeah. I mean, like I had this like so the whole reason
Do you
that
have any idea how cheap that is?
Yeah, I wanted to do this trip 2 years ago actually.
Uh-huh.
But my parents wouldn't let me go by myself. This is because I was in a very bad state and I wanted to just be away from America.
Uh-huh.
But my parents were like, no, you can't go by yourself.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't ever not my son, not my daughter.
You'd be surprised. A lot of people actually travel by themselves. I met a guy from Canada who's like literally been traveling for like months by himself.
You know about that shit that happened in the Dominican recently? Well,
all
the different
all those
things,
people.
all
I
the
just saw
different
that like
things.
an 8th person died.
Yeah,
There was not updated.
There was so a lot of fucking random crimes are happening in the Dominican, but like some of them are really just fucked up. And one of the ones that I know about is a husband and a wife went for like a vacation, and she just went to go do something.
Go get food or something, right?
Yeah, and she was like walking down a hallway, and one of the employees of the hotel like beat the fucking shit out of her.
Basically trying to kill her.
And there's like not much more information on what happened to her, if she was like raped or anything, because she just was literally like
she was in and out of conscience.
She was in and out of consciousness?
Yeah, because she
Sorry,
was just
I was
getting the
getting
shit
cut
beat
off.
out of her, and she was there with her husband. She just left for a little bit.
Yeah, and he fell asleep. So he didn't even know she wasn't there.
I forgot if she died.
No, she woke
didn't.
up like barely, like she had to like drag herself
Yeah.
out of wherever she was. Like she was like in some like storage or
Yeah.
something, like a shed.
Fuck.
And was like dragging herself out.
That's a horror story type shit.
Yeah. So it's like, even if you go, like, I would never, ever, like, hearing about that now. Like, no, you're not going walking by yourself, like, at all.
Yeah, dude. And isn't it in, I think it's Switzerland, where there's like a huge like rise in rape?
Oh, I have no clue.
I don't either.
Apparently there was, and it was pretty controversial, but apparently because of like a lot of refugees from the Middle East coming into Eastern European countries, there was like a huge rise in rape, apparently, because of how like the laws with women are in the Middle Eastern countries versus the laws in the Western world, how they don't match up. And so there were a lot of crimes against women committed because of the influx
So
of
fucked up,
of
dude.
immigrants.
Such a weird, fucked up world. It's like you constantly forget, like, because you do all these crazy cool things, and like things typically work out for most people. Like your trip was really good, aside from like the things that randomly happen here or there. And then we have our daily lives here, and then you just hear about this shit. Like you go on one vacation, you don't come back.
Yeah.
Like that's just so fucked up.
Yeah, and we're over here like, oh, did you see Ninja in that new video game tournament? And Saudi Arabia's like, we'll let women drive.
Yeah, that's my point. Is like you can't. I mean, obviously, you can't pay attention to every problem in the world. You will never
Definitely
catch
not.
up. But it's still like you got to put it into perspective, and that's why, like, even just you and Lacey going to Europe,
Nervous.
I probably wouldn't.
Yeah, my parents were kind of concerned, but it was kind of one of those things where, like, once we were there, it actually was very safe feeling. Like, Prague was the only place that I was, like, slightly uncomfortable with, just because it's a little closer to, like, the Eastern European countries.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of, like, the start of them. But everywhere we went everyone was very nice, polite. We didn't really have, like, any bad encounters. Yeah, I don't think we actually had any bad encounters.
That's good.
But yeah, it's because like you always hear about like pickpocketers and all this stuff. Like obviously like that woman came up to us saying her bag got stolen. So like it does happen, but I don't know if maybe we were just lucky or what, but like we didn't have anything happen to us, like nothing bad in like that sense.
Yeah, and that's like you hear about that, and then there's like that argument of just like, yeah, no, it was a good trip. So I guess I mean, the areas that you went to and the different countries that you went to, like, are they typically nicer areas that don't have a lot of danger, like a lot of
Well, you hit a lot of tourist hotspots,
Yeah,
right?
so we hit
it's
like
safer
all the
there.
tourist
Yeah.
hotspots.
Okay.
It's actually a bigger area for like pickpocketers to be because
yeah.
they know tourists are there.
Yeah, pickpocketing, yeah, but like when it comes to
I'm
like
talking about-
abduction
yeah.
and murder and rape and shit like that.
That I'm not actually sure about. I would think it would be kind of around the same general idea of like, because there's more tourists, it's easier to target people who seem like more fidgety and like more worrisome, and like those are easier targets to hit when it comes to like actually like abducting someone when you think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just feel like if you're in a large public area, you'd have a little bit more of a like comfort cushion with there being a lot of people around and everything. If you're like off in the countryside and you're an American and you can't speak the language of the country, you're fucked if anyone wants to take advantage of you.
That's very true.
So all in all, it was a good trip, though.
Oh, definitely. I just would recommend not going to 11 cities in 21 days.
That is
You
quite a
packed
bit. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a lot of traveling.
I did as much as I could, and is like
Do you feel like you just there was so much that you did that it kind of drowned out some of the other cities that you went to?
oh, definitely. Towards like the end of the trip, I was so done with walking.
Yeah.
London and Paris, we both did like 13 miles in a single day.
That's a lot.
We averaged 7.8 miles over the course of 21 days.
Damn.
Did you take one day to relax?
Yeah, our one day was when we were stuck in the Netherlands.
Oh. Okay. Yeah.
Did that eliminate a city for you?
Yeah, so we actually lost our full day in Berlin.
Oh, that sucks.
So,
Fuck.
oh my gosh, Berlin. So because we lost the full day, we weren't able to like do any tours that we wanted to do or things like that.
Yeah.
So like, and I think no, Berlin, we were leaving in the middle of the day. But so we decided to just walk around the city, like kill some time, leave like mid-afternoon. And so we had to lug our suitcases around all of Berlin. And
That's just so fucking annoying to have to do.
it was
The pickpocketers are salivating.
Oh, yeah.
it was so exhausting, and it was just like by the time we hit like I can't think of the actual name for it, but it's like the Victory Tower.
Mm-hmm.
By the time we hit that was like kind of like our last thing we wanted to see. I was just like hauling ass because I was like, I want to get to the train. I'm done walking with this damn suitcase.
Yeah.
So I was just like super fast walking. Lacey was like 5 yards behind me, and I'm just like, I'm done. I'm tired. I just want to get on the freaking train.
I don't know, like to travel that much. Like I said, if it was like drowning out the rest of the trip at all, like at any point where you're just like, I'm not enjoying this anymore. Like I just want to
Yeah.
go home. Like I just don't even
Yeah.
want.
I
See,
think it
that
was about like
sucks.
the 2-week point.
Mhm.
Fuck.
I hit this point where I was just like, I can't wait to be home. Like I was texting my boyfriend and I was just like, I can't wait to be home. I'm so over this trip. Like
Yeah.
it was just so exhausting.
Yeah.
So like right now my college roommate is actually still in Europe. She did like the exact same trip as me,
Mhm.
except she did 2 weeks in England, and now she's doing like 2 weeks in Italy.
See, that sounds better.
The 2 weeks, so like England was with her family,
Yeah.
and then Italy's with her boyfriend's family.
Okay.
So that's why it's like longer in those two places.
Right.
But like the rest of her trip was kind of close to like what I did. And I was talking to her about her. I was like, yeah, like I just like hit this point where I was like ready to go home. She's like, I hit the same thing. And she was like, it was like right around the 2 week mark. I was like, no way. Like that was the exact same point for me.
So I guess it really just doesn't matter. Maybe it's just a homesick thing of just
But,
like,
like-
the
Well,
different
it's probably
food, the
just
atmosphere.
the overworking yourself and the stress and having to be at a certain place at a certain time.
Yeah. But the thing is, it's like, so for her first 2 weeks, she was basically just in
That's
England.
what I'm saying. So what? That's exactly
And
what I was
so
getting
like she's only like having to deal with people who speak English, and like
easier.
they don't have like is like I guess you could, it's not diverse food, but like, you know, like weird food.
at. Yeah.
Mhm.
That you don't-
Weird food.
I don't know how to
Their food-
describe
yeah,
that.
Their
like,
food isn't as foreign
yeah,
and exotic.
exactly. And
Maybe
so,
it's just like a homesick thing.
but she was with her family, so it's not like you're homesick.
No, of just like the normalities of being
just
in,
like-
in the States.
Tiring to
Yeah.
be traveling, because like even for my spring break this past year, I did Vegas for a few days, and then I did a cruise for the remainder. And by the time we were like in the airport, because I went with my boyfriend for like this whole trip,
Mm-hmm.
when we got to the airport to like go back to Chicago, we were just so ready to be home. We were so done. Like, and this was only for a week.
I guess when I say homesick, I don't mean like, you know,
The people.
Well, I will say beds play a huge factor into
when
travel.
I say homesick, I mean like, again, the normalities of like you miss your bed, you miss sometimes routine is nice because doing too many different things over and over again, like that like I've talked about before, that 10-day streak where it was something different every day and I was crashing on different couches, and even though it was in California, like I was maybe 2 hours from home each day, it's like that's just it. The fucking traveling, it just eventually gets to you. So that's why, I mean, for her trip, I don't see why. Maybe it was just the fact of,
Yeah, I have no clue.
I don't know, maybe just missing the normalities. But I think I realized with myself, because yesterday's podcast, well, yes, it doesn't matter when people are listening to this. We did it yesterday.
Last episode.
Yes. When I'm out of it, I realize now, and I always forget when I'm out of it, I'm like, why? Why am I stuck in this? I don't know how to talk. My brain's not on. Why can't I keep up with people? Like, you'll be talking. I have no fucking idea where to go next.
Wow, you sound like me in class.
It's because, so, you know, when you wake up for we've all worked normal jobs. When you have to wake up early, you've had a normal, like, wake up early for a job kind of thing. Oh, school, class.
Soccer. We have practice at 6 a.m.
Your brain's not on, right? Like you
I function very well in the morning. I function very well in the morning and late at night. I'm very weird. I'm not a night owl and I'm not a morning person. But I can do both.
Well, not everybody's fucking got superpowers, Kat. So,
when you can't function on little sleep, I can relate to that.
well, it's not even the little sleep thing. It's when I am in my apartment all day, basically alone, due to my brother just sitting in his room because he's doing his own thing, and I'm in my room and I'm not talking at all. If I haven't socialized and then I have to jump into the most social setting, which is a podcast, or like if I have to go to a party, I won't go out if I haven't seen people,
because you didn't get to warm up those brain muscles.
Not at all. I've been sitting in my room listening to music and editing, so I'm alone. Like I've tuned into like this relaxing part of my day.
You're all in your brain.
It's
and
all
nowhere out.
Like she'll be you'll say something and I'll just
It doesn't
be like,
register?
No, it registers. It just that's it. That's all my
he just
brain
receives
wants.
it and he's like, I'm
receive
not
and
gonna,
like don't add.
Yeah. And it's just like nice.
Yeah, I get you.
Because that's what I've been doing all day. So I'm stuck. And I've been feeling fucking weird the past couple of days. I'm like, why can't I do this podcast? I forget that's why, because I've been locked in my fucking room editing. And it's like, you just get stuck in this mindset.
You should just like fucking find a random ass person that you're like, oh, we should hang out sometime soon, that you never get to hang out with and get lunch with them.
Well, the way that I get past it is like, I just need to go be active the hour before I go do something. So if I would have just gone to the gym, I would have been fine. But it's like, as you guys are talking, I was literally going to tell you guys like, hey, I'm probably not going to be able to chime in a lot here. I'm just going to listen.
That's
I really want to
okay.
hear about your trip, but when we have a guest on, it's all about you anyway. So please just keep going.
I actually have a talking point I want to touch on. The Katherine that you are now is way different than the Katherine from high school.
Holy fuck, yeah.
And
Yes.
for one, am a huge fan, by the way.
Thank you.
But
The last Katherine sucked.
no, obviously not, because we were like super close throughout high school.
Yeah.
But like for people who don't know, Katherine was like in my closest friend group, like the everyday day one's go-to friends.
We've like best friends. Literally, people told us we should date. Nick was one of those people at one point.
all the
I'm
time.
gonna add him hard on that because he kept saying it, and we're like, no, never.
You don't get it. But so we've been friends for a long time, and I was you were one of those people where I was like, Katherine's Katherine, and that's pretty much set in stone. And then we like really hung out for the first time in a cool minute, and I was like, holy shit, you are damn near unrecognizable, but at the same time, just you're still Katherine. But the change that you went through was crazy, and I want to know like if you ever like kind of self-reflect and notice how far you've come, or if you kind of feel like you're still not really different, or if you think you're better off than you were then, or just different than you were then. You're not classifying what's better than or what's worse.
Yeah. No, I get your question. Actually, I think I'm a lot better of a person than I was in high school. I mean, like, I wasn't a bad person in high school.
Let's start with describe what kind of like personality traits you had in high school.
If we had to describe me in high school, I mean, you guys could both chime in on this, on like the kind of person I was.
I would say very cut, dry, like stern, by the book.
Exactly.
You had a page-long checklist of how you wanted your boyfriend to be.
Yeah, I did.
Including
That was
physical
a thing.
characteristics and personality quirks.
I did get rid of that list by junior year, though.
I remembered that growth. I remember that.
And everyone was like, no, you didn't. I was like, no, I actually did get rid of it.
We were like, we still remember it. White boy, hazel eyes, tall.
No, it was blue eyes. It was blue eyes, thank you. Because I do have a chance of having kids with blue eyes, so I really wanted to have kids with blue eyes. Sorry, Ryan. I know you don't have blue eyes, and I know you're going to listen to this podcast.
You're like, when miracles happen, baby.
CRISPR's coming around that corner.
She's like, I'm working on it. I promise.
Gene mutation is happening.
Okay, we're going to move on from that. But no, I was definitely, everyone always thought I was very mean. I was called a bitch a lot. We all know that was a very common thing.
You were uptight.
People were very scared of me. I was called intimidating by several guys.
Yeah, like you were, including Nick.
You were intimidating as fuck
you were
in high school.
ASB president. You were like, we're running this shit. Yeah. We're doing it right.
I met you your freshman year, and you were in ASB. You don't get in ASB until your junior year. So I was like, first of all, way too smart. Secondly, when you started talking...
Were you in my math class too?
Fuck you.
Brian Yount was in my math class, and like Tony, sorry for throwing out that last name. Tony was, and like a few others. I wasn't sure if you were in that one.
But you were a freshman in freshman and junior classes, right?
Well, we took
junior level classes.
Because we were on the same for the majority of it, right? You took Algebra 2 starting freshman year, and then Trig sophomore year.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Calculus junior year.
Yes.
And then
I decided to take stats.
Yeah, then we had stats senior year.
That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Which,
did you
in high school compared to what?
Did you get up to Calc?
Trig pre-Calc, and then that was it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had Chillin our sophomore. Do you have Chillin? No, you didn't.
Yeah, I had him. I had him my freshman and sophomore year.
Oh, that's right. You got him your freshman year. I had that bitch my freshman year.
Yeah, I got changed out of her class because I wasn't put in biology honors.
Oh, okay.
And the only available block was the same one that all the other freshmen were in for math. So I got moved into McMillan's math class.
Dude, I didn't even know we were really in advanced math until I hit high school, and there were like juniors taking geometry, and I was like, oh, you mean that 8th grade class?
Yeah.
What I was gonna say is in high school you were way more like how we were saying cut dry, but that was how you were with school too. Like your grades,
that's the thing. It was
like,
the environment you were in.
I was very focused on school.
Like your average GPA was what, like 4 point something?
I ended high school with a 4.3 GPA.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Graduating
I got
gold.
the max. I got the max I could because I wanted to do ASB for all 4 years.
Yeah.
So I couldn't take certain AP classes, so I couldn't get a higher GPA. I got straight A's all through high school. Not in college.
Yeah, I remember you telling me, you're like, I have a C in this class, and I was like, Catherine.
Yeah, actually, my second semester, my freshman year, I got straight C's, and I will be completely honest about that. It was a hard point in my life. I, for the first time ever in my life, was homesick. I was going through things with my family. My mom was diagnosed with cancer, and then shortly following after that, she found out that she had to get open heart surgery as well.
Holy shit. I didn't know about, you didn't mention any of that in these texts, dude.
Yeah,
I completely forgot about that.
I actually didn't really tell anyone about any of this, just because it was just kind of like the way I was. I was very kept back. Like, I didn't really want to tell people my problems.
This was your freshman year of college?
Yeah.
So how is she doing now?
Oh, she's great. Like, my parents are literally in Alaska right now.
Oh,
that's dope.
Like,
shout out to the Nishimotos.
Yeah, they're just chilling. They're going on their vacations.
Oh, you know, I was actually closer to your brother than
Really?
I was with you for a short time.
Is a wild guy. I remember we all sat around the fire at your house in the backyard and we all played Never Have I
Never
Ever.
Have I
And that
Ever.
motherfucker put his fingers down faster than anybody.
Weed though.
But I know, seriously, it was like all these crazy shit. He's putting all his fingers
down
down.
to like 2 fingers, and someone's like, never had weed, and he just sits there. And we're like,
And we were
wait,
like,
what?
really? Are you kidding me? You did all this other shit? And then also this person pulled up to the party that we didn't want there, so he chased them off with a katana.
Yeah.
Went in the
Yo.
house, grabbed a katana, and chased them off the lawn.
Your brother's tight as
And then
fuck.
went back to sit
Yeah.
down and just go, yeah, I never had weed.
Like, genuinely, and this is kind of fucked up, but at the same time, there was a large portion I didn't know your brother's name because I only knew him by Nishi.
No, that's what he was called in high school. That's why
Okay,
I was
cool.
called Little Nishi.
Okay, so what's his name again?
Alexander.
I was gonna say Alex.
The
Genuinely,
great.
like I was gonna ask if it was Alex, but I was like, no, it's longer than that.
Yeah.
because it is.
My
remember
mom believes in long classical names, hence why both of us have 9-letter names
Ah,
and 2
damn.
middle names. So
Damn.
shit.
I have a lot of letters.
Obviously,
What's
his brother, her brother's 2 middle names are the Great.
Duh.
What's your full name?
Katherine Olivia Kaori Nishimoto.
Those.
What's the third
third
one?
one?
Kaori.
I thought I heard
Kaori.
that.
What is that like? Origin of?
It's a Japanese name. So I have 2 Japanese names, 2 English names. So it's like half and half.
Hell yeah.
That's fucking tight, dude.
Yeah.
Wow.
Is your brother the same way?
Yeah.
What's his?
Alexander Quinn Saburo Nishimoto.
Saburo.
Saburo.
Yeah.
That's so sick. Yeah. Okay. So back to your freshman year, all of that happening with your mom.
Yeah. So
And then-
I didn't like tell anyone. Lacey's like my best friend, and like she had come over to that same like thing that he was talking about, like the little like
The get together in your
get-together
backyard.
thing. And my mom was talking. My mom, everyone always says my parents are like super cool and like chill
They're very
and like
cool.
everything. So like I've just accepted it.
Your parents are fucking
No,
dope.
I
dude.
love my parents. I know that they're a lot
Was
like
that-
chiller of parents than most people.
Was that the same night that Saeed
Yeah.
totally blew chunks all over your
That
bathroom?
threw up all over my bathroom. Yeah,
God.
my shower
He's
curtain.
listening to this going, fuck,
Dude,
man.
it was
He
like
keeps anytime he sees me now, he still apologizes.
Dude, well,
God.
because
Yeah.
we may or may not have taken edibles that night, and so
I think I remember some stories
Joel
from
was
this.
over the sink dancing.
Listen, no, he thought he was
Gospel
gonna puke.
music.
Yeah, he thought he was gonna puke because Saeed puked, and so he was leaning over the sink like ready to puke, and he put on like Kirk Franklin gospel music and was just like swaying back and forth, like waiting for his time.
Yeah, over my kitchen sink.
But describe like where it all went. You were like, because Saeed came out, he's like, I threw up.
I walked to the bathroom and I went, "Are you fucking kidding me? This kid threw up on the bathroom door, behind the sink."
In the cabinets on the shower curtains.
Like everywhere. Literally, my front
Behind
bathroom,
the
like this
toilet,
bathroom
like-
is white, like light blue and white,
Not
just-
after he got out.
orangish tan throw up through the entire bathroom.
It was like he was a sprinkler.
And so
Oh, Jesus
I go-
fucking Christ. That's the nastiest description I've ever. Just.
So I go, "Here's a towel, clean it up." He takes the towel and just pushes it around the floor. And then leaves and says, "I cleaned it." I look, I went, "Oh my God, this is not clean."
So guess what Catherine had to do that night?
Clean that entire
the whole
bath-
bathroom.
Well-
And then like my parents got up like the next morning and they're like, "Did someone throw up last night?" I was like, "Yeah, like I tried to clean the bathroom," and like they're like, "Yeah, it still smells like throw up." I was like, "Oh."
Hold on. Like in my head, it just got so much funnier. Of like as he's throwing up, it's like a fire hose. Like when they fucking spray, and it's just like they can't control themselves. Like how was he? Where? Like I want to know his body motions. Was he like
Yeah,
leaning
I do
against
too.
the
I
wall?
want to know how it got
He
all
was
over.
probably- it was probably like a Family Guy skit, like where he's just like, oh God, oh, and he's like trying to crawl in. He's like,
I feel like it was like one of those things where like he kind of threw up and like kept walking to the toilet to throw up
Like
more.
was he like covering his mouth and was it shooting up?
Like I have no clue.
the reason your parents knew someone was throwing up because they're staring at the ceiling like wide-eyed.
Yeah.
It's like, and like you
No.
see like it soaking under the door. Like,
Oh God.
He's so embarrassed right now. Oh shit, dude.
Yeah, he still
Oh, fuck.
apologizes to me to this day.
He's
anytime
gonna
I see
he's
him.
gonna text you after listening to this. He's gonna be like, I'm so sorry. And by the way, this is how I threw up.
Well, that'd be interesting to
It
find
was
out.
so funny, and it's like we were all having a great ass time until Saeed comes in the backyard and it's like, I threw up, and then me and Joel looked at each other. We were like, oh fuck.
Yeah, because he said that
shit.
he threw up because of cheese last time, and he's like, I can handle an edible.
Have you
Oh
ever
my
seen that
God.
the Dumb and Dumber movie? The really like the bad one where it was like Dumb and Dumber or something, and he like shits all over it's not shit all over the bathroom, but he has like melted chocolate in his pocket, and he goes and puts his hand in his pocket, and there's chocolate on his hand, so he starts freaking out, and he rubs it on like the towel, and then he realizes that that's not doing anything, and there's too much chocolate, so he's like rubbing it on all the different parts of the bathroom.
That's what my bathroom looked like.
And so he gets out of the bathroom and he tells, I forget who it is that does it, and he tells his partner, he's like, we gotta get out of here. And they leave, and the dad goes in the bathroom, and he's like, oh my God, there's shit everywhere. There's shit on the walls. And that's what I'm imagining is like Catherine walking in and just being like, just like, what is this?
It was
Sorry,
bad.
my weak points are thrown up in shitting stories like that. That's my funny bone.
If you want Nick to like,
fuck.
squeal and cry from how hard he's laughing, throw up and
if
shit
Saeed
stories.
ever tells me the story, if he remembers how he threw up, I'll probably like laugh so hard I'll throw up because those stories make me laugh so fucking hard.
I always tell you the stories of our friend Noah and how he like gags at everything.
Noah actually came over to my house. We were all sitting in my room. He told me the story. I almost passed out. Like I thought I was going to black out. I was laughing so hard.
Oh my God.
Like his
gag
description of
reflex is so fucking sensitive.
Do you know about that?
Oh my God. His gag reflex is like a hair trigger. Like I remember we were hanging out in Vegas and we were getting Raising Cane's, and we had just had like lemonade because we just finished eating. And you know how like certain like drinks and foods make your like spit sticky?
Yeah.
He's sitting there and like we always make jokes about his gag reflex being really bad, and he was like, where he's about to get in the car and he like hawks up like a fat loogie. He's like, and then he looks at me. He's like, and he's like, how wouldn't that be funny if I actually? He actually gags. And I was out of breath. My stomach was cramping. I was just silently dying. And he's like, I fucking hate that shit, because the original story, and I actually got to hear it from his fucking mom, was when they moved into their new house. He was like a kid and he walked in and they had just finished like the house. Like it was brand new. And he walks in the house and he goes, I smell wet paint. I smell wet paint. And he went, and then just threw up everywhere in the new house. And their parents had to like pick him up and take him out of the house. And then like a week later.
Weren't they in the car?
Well, yeah. And then like. And then like a week later, he was like driving and he was leaning on his arm, like looking out the window, and like he recalled the smell of wet paint and then like threw up all over the car window. And, like, all over himself.
It's extremely fucking sensitive, and he does genuinely puke. Like this isn't bullshit. That's him.
Just him hawking his own loogie. It kind of got caught, and he just
he said, "Wouldn't that be funny if I?" Oh shit, we got so fucking off topic. That was good.
So anyway,
freshman year.
well, I was gonna say back to the entire idea of like your transition, how you've changed as a person. Like, what do you think that was attributed to?
Well, that's where she was getting with the whole like with freshman year and whatnot, and having all those different things happening, and school slipping, like literally sand in her hands and through the cracks.
My second semester freshman year. So my parents decided they'd come out during my spring break that year, which is also when I had my concussion, my first concussion, by the way.
It's all making sense.
Yeah. But no, so basically...
That's what made you who you are? No, I'm joking. Go ahead.
It actually, I can't like get nearly like hit in the head anymore because I get headaches really quickly.
Oh, shit.
Otherwise.
She's like, so I was very insensitive, Nick.
That's just a whole side story. But no, so I actually... basically cried myself to sleep almost for like 2 months straight my freshman semester, like second semester, and it was like one of those things where it's like so like before I left for like the second semester start, my mom had actually lost a bunch of weight because she had she had like, I think she had a hysterectomy done.
Mm-hmm.
And that was also something they decided not to tell me when that was happening.
Okay.
So thanks, family, on that.
Yeah. Do you think that they were trying to save you from the stress they already knew you were going through?
Yeah, exactly. That was kind of the thing because I was in the middle of soccer season when all of this like happened and things like that. And so after that surgery, my mom lost a ton of weight.
What is a hysterectomy?
Removing like lady parts.
Oh shit!
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Yeah, because she ended up having like a collapse something another.
I was going to ask if there were like any cysts or anything, but
no, it was a collapse something. That's like the extent of I know because like they didn't tell me like anything with this. And so she had lost a ton of weight and she had noticed like a lump like around her throat.
Mm-hmm.
And so my mom watches a lot of like HGTV, and so it's like one of our guilty pleasure channels to watch. That and like Food Network for me, but
neither of those are bad.
Food Network is
glad
nice.
to know you guys agree. But so she had noticed this bump, and one of the shows on HGTV, like one of like the hosts of one of them, had a nurse actually like reach out because she was like a fan of the show and noticed that he had a lump on his like by his throat that wasn't like the Adam's apple.
No shit.
And said like, hey, you should get that checked out. Like it might be cancer. And so my mom had like the same kind of thing, and like before I left, like I remember having like a whole conversation with my mom and like saying like, just get it checked out because like if anything, it's better to find out what it is now than like later on and it be worse.
Right.
And so she like scheduled a doctor's appointment and everything. And then I went to school, all that. I was having a really rough time. I just didn't understand like my classes very well. And like, it was really hard for me because high school was so easy. College was this whole different thing. Like I didn't know how to study. I didn't know how to like actually prepare for exams, things like that. And so I was just having a horrible time. And then I remember so there's this donut place called Stan's Donuts in Chicago, which actually originated in Hollywood or like LA because it's over by UCLA. And so they were opening a new location like pretty close to my campus. And so some of my friends and myself were like, oh, like let's go on like the grand opening day, like, you know, like because they do like deals and things like that. So we're like, let's go get donuts. And so we went, and then on our train ride back, I was getting a call from my mom. And I was like, I like answered it and I was like, hey, like I'm on the train, like can I call you when I get back to my dorm? She's like, yeah, like that's fine. Like so then like 10 minutes later I get back to my dorm, I call her and she tells me she has cancer.
Oh fuck.
And so like I kind of already expected it, but at the same time like it's just like one of those things where you're like, someone in my family has cancer. Like how do you really take that?
Right.
You know, like regardless of like what stage it's at or what kind it is, the word cancer just has that connotation on it where it's just so negative where you're just like, well, are you going to have to do radiation? Are you going to have to do chemo? Like, is it anywhere else? Like,
yeah, it's like the worst possible thing a human can have.
Yeah. And so I just remember like my boyfriend at the time was there and then like my other friends. And like I told him, I was like, hey, like, can you guys just like give me the room for a little while? And like I just was bawling.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually like I let him in and just like to try to like kind of comfort me a little bit. But so I was just like, I just need my time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and so like that all happened. And so like one of the things also with like the new year, like as dumb as it sounds, it's this whole like, you know, you want to go to the gym, like starting out, like,
yeah.
But so like that was something that my parents like actually like set a goal on doing because my mom had lost all the weight from the previous surgery. Like she wanted to keep the weight down.
Right.
And so my parents were going to the gym a lot, and my mom noticed that it was like really difficult for her to like do like, because she walks
physical activity.
Yeah, like she walks on the treadmill.
By the way,
for like a long period.
Really quick, what cancer did she end up
having?
Yeah.
Thyroid.
Oh fuck. Yeah. Okay, that's not an easy one.
It's not that bad. It's kind of one of the ones that are like not better to get, but like
the lesser of the evils.
Yeah.
Pick your poison.
Just because it's within your throat, and like especially if it's localized, you just remove the thyroid itself.
Right.
But then you have to take thyroid medication to like maintain the balance of like.
But doesn't
everything.
the thyroid control like a crap ton of the way the body functions?
Like yes and no, but like you have so many other things that also like take over and things like that.
I thought okay, I'm mistaken. Then
it's kind of like a regulatory organ.
Right.
It's not like a huge organ, but like.
Right. So the gym.
yeah, so my parents were going to the gym. My mom was doing treadmill. Like she'd be like walking for 30 minutes and like she'd notice that like it was putting like a big strain on her. Like she like couldn't keep walking and like it hurt. And so she decided to go in to the doctor and get her heart checked. Just because she's like, I don't know what's going on. Like I should be able to do this. And so, so she went to the doctor after she found out she had cancer. It was like just because of like how scheduling worked.
Yeah.
And so my mom had her cancer removed like the week after they came out for spring break.
Okay.
And then she kept like having things checked on her heart. And then when I got home for the summer, I remember my mom had a doctor's appointment to like check to see if they could just do a stent or like if more needed to be done.
Right.
And so they were hoping that it was just going to be a stent. And then they found out that there were, I believe, 2 blockages. And one of the blockages was actually in like the part that they call the widow's maker.
Right.
That's scary.
Because basically if there's a block there, like it's going to kill you.
Yeah.
But thankfully my mom's heart actually created its own bypass, which is why she didn't die from it. Yeah.
Like just worked its way around it somehow?
Yeah, it just naturally created
Holy
another
fuck.
way. And so like if her heart hadn't done that, she would have died from a heart attack.
Whoa, dude.
Yeah.
That's
Were they
really
like
cool.
amazed by the fact that her heart or is that something that's kind of common with that
I guess
one?
it happens, but it didn't seem like it was like too surprising that it happened.
But it's literally dodging a bullet.
Yeah, it is. And so so they found out they couldn't do the stent.
Uh-huh.
And so she had to schedule open heart surgery.
No shit.
Yeah. So my mom had open heart surgery done like a week maybe right before I had to go back to college.
And how long after was it that she had the surgery for the cancer?
So her cancer surgery was in March and she had her open heart surgery in, I believe, August.
Holy fuck.
Same year.
Yeah. So my mom had 3 surgeries within a year span.
Not even 6 months. Like that's fucking crazy.
Well, because her first surgery was like in October. That was her first ever surgery in her life.
Oh, you said 3, sorry.
Yeah.
You said 3.
It was her first surgery ever in her life.
Yeah.
And she had 3 within a year.
Fuck.
Holy fuck, dude.
Yeah.
And she's doing fine now. Everything's good.
Yeah. She just has to take like a bunch of medications because like she has to take thyroid medication. And then she has to like take different medications because of her heart because of having like the double bypass surgery.
So you said there were 2 blockages in her heart, right?
Yeah.
One in the widowmaker and
then the other, I don't know where the other one was.
Oh, okay. But they got both of them, obviously.
Yeah. But
That's so crazy.
it was one thing because like my whole family like went to the hospital with her when she like went to go get her surgery and everything. And it was actually kind of funny because she's like, I'm the youngest person in this waiting room who's getting open heart surgery. Like it really bothered her.
Yeah.
Because she like they called up like the people who were getting the surgery and it was literally like 70-year-old men and then my mom like 50-year-old woman.
Yeah.
And she's just like, I shouldn't be here. Like,
She's just getting hers out of the way earlier.
yeah, that's what it is.
So no add-ons, no takeaways. Like it just cleared out the blockages and then that was it.
Yeah, well, I mean, like with open heart surgery, like you have to do a bunch of stuff with the heart.
Goodbye, Caleb.
But yeah, so then after that, like she just was in recovery for a while. And then I ended up seeing her 2 months after it, I believe, which was like pretty close to like when she was like cleared for everything because
You said it was 1 week after you left was when she got
her surgery was before I
Okay.
left.
Okay.
So like I got to see her like before
Okay,
like
that's
and make
good.
sure like everything was okay.
And then 2 months later.
Yeah, so I came out to California to play soccer. Like our team traveled out here and we played like Cal Lu and UC Santa Cruz. So like my family, like of course they'd come out like literally biggest fans, come to every high school game, every club game. Like
I love it.
So like college was really hard because like I didn't have anyone in the stands.
Yeah.
And so like they would just watch on the live streams. But so like
that's
it's so different.
it's definitely different, but god damn did they go hard still keeping like you know the tradition of what they could going.
It's because they've always like pushed me to do well in everything I did and like always supporting me.
Yeah.
And so So they came out to my California games. Actually, Caleb came out to one as well, along with some of our other friends.
At Kalu.
Yeah. And so like I got to see my parents there, and like my mom was like doing much better and everything. And like
It's good.
they actually, my parents were actually supposed to go on a European cruise that fall because it was their 25th wedding anniversary, and my mom like was dying to go to Italy. I'm telling you, like my mom and I had been wanting to go to Italy since like I was a small child. And so like she was finally like, your dad and I are going to go, like we're going to go for our wedding anniversary. And because of like the recovery process from open heart surgery, her doctor advised that she
Don't get on a plane.
like didn't go, like not to go on that trip. No, it was more to do with the walking actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because of just like how strenuous it can be on your heart,
Yeah,
especially if like you're not fully recovered. So like they had to postpone their trip, and like my mom was super depressed about that. But it was really good to see her, because like I'd text her every now and then, and like she's like, yeah, like I'm driving myself now, and like this kind of stuff, because that's another thing, you can't like wear a seatbelt because
shit.
it's open heart surgery, so it's like right in like the center of your chest,
Right.
and that's where like all of your scarring is. So like the seatbelt hits right there, and so like she couldn't drive herself, or she have to have a pillow in between like her and the seatbelt, and so like she was finally able to drive herself and like take her to her own appointments, things like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, like she'd keep me updated and things like that. And then yeah, that's about it with my mom. Like she's doing great now.
And you said they're in Australia?
Alaska.
Alaska? Sorry.
It's okay. They're in Alaska right now. They're doing a cruise, just because my mom's been wanting to do an Alaskan cruise. And-
Has she gone to Italy since?
oh yeah, they postponed their trip to March. That following March.
Nice.
So they still considered it their wedding anniversary cruise, but it was kind of more for like my mom's birthday, because that's when it fell.
Yeah.
So she still got to do Italy. I know she was dying to go back.
Yeah.
But
And you were
yeah.
like, it sucked.
I actually haven't been able to talk to my parents really about my trip, because they left for Alaska the same day I got home.
Oh, shit.
Fuck.
So I haven't seen my parents since my graduation. But
When
yeah.
are they coming? Like, how
They come
long?
back Friday. I have to go pick them up from the airport.
Oh, nice. So
There
you
you
get the
go.
weekend with them before you go
Yeah.
start your next big ass endeavor.
Yeah, exactly.
Which, have you found a place to live?
Nope.
Okay.
Yep. That's no. Yeah, we're not going to talk about that.
No, we're not.
It's not a big deal. I'm just struggling to find a place within like price point and things like that.
Right.
But yeah, to go back to Caleb's question that was asked forever ago of how
transition.
I've changed.
Yeah.
So that was a huge point to my life, just like emotionally, and like realizing like how important family is and things like that. Like I've always cherished family, just because like that's kind of like the dynamic my family has always had. It was just one of those things where it was like realizing how lucky I was that my mom was still alive was a huge thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then kind of going in from there, I got into a relationship with someone
Mm-hmm.
who I thought was the love of my life. Actually, when we broke up, when I came home for summer, I hung out with Caleb, and that was the first time he ever seen me cry.
Mm.
Yeah.
Our
You've seen me cry before him. Because that one time when we were in Starbucks, I started crying.
That's right. You
Yeah.
did. Yeah.
Weird memory, I know, but
Yeah.
that was the first time like I like really cried in front of like anyone anyway. Was like you.
Shout out to those awesome memories.
Woo.
Yeah.
like Kat and I have a tradition. Like whenever she's out here,
To
we
have
go
a
to
cry sesh.
No, actually.
no, we go to Sonic.
Yeah.
And we sit and chill and just talk and for like hours
Yeah.
and catch up and everything.
Yeah.
And I remember, I think, was it you farted in front of me? Was that what it was?
No, I told you I had to shit.
It was something else.
It was because of the milkshake, and dairy doesn't always sit well with me.
Yeah, a lot of good bonding moments.
Caleb was
Oh shit.
telling me this thing about like why can't I talk about that?
Okay, can I introduce it then?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so a little awkward. That's why I was like, fuck, she's gonna jump into this.
Yes, I am. 'Cause it explains a lot.
I talked about how dudes, and can confirm this from a survey of my friends at the time when I asked them in high school, because this was like pretty.
This was after my sophomore year of college.
Yeah. So
it was 2017, summer of 2017.
Mm-hmm. And I was talking about
summer?
how.
Oh, was that before I cried or after I cried?
I think it was before.
Oh, then it was probably freshman year.
Yeah, because it was like right after high school. 2016.
So
Yeah,
sorry.
And I was explaining how when guys are jacking off, they will, whether or not they will it or decide it for it to happen or not, will occasionally have like some of their girlfriends pop into their head when it happens. And I was explaining how like this is common for dudes, and it's not, and even if the dude never pursues that girl, like they'll pop in their head during it sometimes. And I can see you're not disagreeing, so there's some.
Oh no, it's definitely fucking happening.
Okay. Just trying to make sure we're on the same page.
Oh,
but
you'll
I
see.
told Catherine, I was like, but for some reason, Catherine, you're one of
No, that is not the full story of that.
Okay, you want to take the baton from there?
I'll take the reins on this. He was talking to one of our friends, and they were thinking of different friends that like if they would think of, like, if it's someone that they would like think of almost like, and they got to me, and he flat out goes, "No way in hell!" Like, he's like, "No."
Like, no way
So,
in
like-
hell.
Like, I'm like the one person like they would not think of while jacking off.
Yeah. So I was like,
And I don't take offense to that
But I was
because everyone has always called me a bro. Like, everyone looks at me as like their sister. Like,
Like,
I was
what
like-
okay,
But yeah, I
you
was
have
like-
to
I was like-
understand where my brain is. How I'm, like I told you, I fall behind, and like the whole conversation, crying, shitting, and now we're talking about jacking off, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on in this whole conversation?
But yeah, I was like, no, Catherine, like, you don't come into my head like at all during that, like being 100% honest, you don't.
and that's all like, okay, good.
And so we were like cracking up about it, whatever. Like, it's just when you're like late night conversations, it goes to obviously wherever.
Right.
Yeah.
And so we're eating our like thick
This
ass,
is, like,
rich ass
Probably
milkshakes.
like 10 minutes later, keep in mind.
Yeah. And Catherine was like, she was like, oh, I have to shit so fucking bad.
I was like, Caleb, we need to go home.
She was like,
I flat out said, Caleb, we need to go to my house
like,
now.
She's like, I have to shit now. And I looked at her and I go, Catherine, this is why I don't jack off to you.
This is it. This is where we lose all 95 listeners.
Sorry, guys. I had a feeling this would happen.
And we were laughing
We
till
got
we
a quarter
were
of a way
fucking
to 100.
crying.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I had a feeling I'd lose all your listeners.
Yes, that's
Why'd
great.
you guys stop the podcast, Katherine Nishimoto?
Ever since
Hey,
we
you guys
did that
made it to
episode.
25 at least.
It
Just deletes my entire podcast.
It just tanked after that one.
Well, I can get back into like my life and
But
get
that
a
was-
little
Please
sappy.
go back to the
That was a great
sadness.
That was a great bonding moment, and it's a forever a
Holy
joke for us.
fuck, man. Actually, I do remember that story. Like, I genuinely, I think
Yeah.
one of you told me about it, if
Yeah.
not both of you. That's a fucking...
That shit was fucking
And
hilarious.
I hope I forget it in a few years and I get told it again, because that is such a good story.
So that just explains to everyone Caleb's and my friendship.
yeah, definitely to a T.
As we were saying, we were best friends. Yeah, you see why.
Yeah, so go on, continue with.
Yeah, so I got into a relationship my sophomore year of college. And that was like a really big flip for me right there.
That was...
Like, we went from straight laughing till I just cut
Like,
you guys
there was
off.
a point
So
where you were
anyway-
starting to slightly tear up a little bit.
Yeah, I was.
And
Yeah,
then,
I saw
and then
you
it was
cracking.
immediately like
It's
we
like,
went
hey,
into
this is a good time to make that one jacking off joke.
Yeah, I get like that. I'm very like overly sensitive now. Thanks, Mom.
Dude,
Same, dude.
You were like stone,
I was stone cold, yeah.
in high school. Like, would not
Actually,
break a tear at shit.
when my grandma passed after freshman year of high school, that's when I started to become more emotional. I still like never was like super emotional. Like, you guys know, like I hated being
obviously.
hugged
Oh my god.
for the
Yeah.
longest
That
time.
explains a lot. Right off the-
I thought you meant now. I'm like,
No, you can hug me all you want. I don't
okay.
care. But no, yeah, when my grandma died, actually, that's when I started to get emotional, and I like started to kind of figure out emotions, I guess you could say. I mean, a little weird to say, but
Before it was just all beep, boop, bop, beep.
yeah, no, like that's like a serious thing. Like, if you think about like the kind of person I was kind of robotic in a sense.
Yeah.
Just because I wasn't very emotional, I didn't really have I didn't really have empathy. That was a huge thing. Like
people went in for a warm embrace and you were like, doesn't compute.
yeah,
Get the fuck off of me.
I didn't like being hugged.
Off the top of my head, I can't think of anybody that has developed empathy over a course of time. I feel like people have it or you don't. And like,
Well, you kind of have to, if you don't, it'll take some major life experiences, obviously, to pull it
but that's what
out.
I'm saying is like, I don't think I've ever heard somebody say like, no, I've grown emotionally, like connected with myself. Like I've learned how to express those feelings. It's interesting.
Yeah, I've gone through like an emotional roller coaster in a sense of just like development. So with that relationship I had my sophomore year of college, I was like, this is the love of my life. I'm going to marry him, blah, blah, blah. Come the end of the school year, he broke up with me. He's like, I don't want to do long distance. Like, I was literally searching for reasons to break up with you.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, like he admitted to it, which I was like, well, thanks. But yeah, he was like searching for reasons to break up with me, and like he couldn't find anything. That's the kicker. He couldn't find any reasons
There's
to break
the
up
knife
with
in
me.
the heart.
Yeah, but so when all of that ended, it just like really took a hard toll on me, because when you love someone so much that you think you're gonna marry them, like it's hard to like forget about them. And that's why like when you came to me about like how long did it take you to get over your ex, and I was like, it took me like 6 months.
Yeah.
And you're like, holy shit, is that going to take that long for me? Like, he like literally said that. We were sitting there eating In-N-Out, and I was like,
I stopped eating
I
and
was like,
I just
I don't
stared
know.
forward, and I was like, I swear to fucking God, I don't want it to take that long.
it's just because that's how long it took me to heal from it.
Yeah.
Like, it was such a hard healing point for me, and like, I self-reflect a lot. Like, I self-reflected in my first relationship, my freshman year of college, and then like, which kind of helped me improve. That was just kind of not like too important. But that second relationship really was like what helped me fully develop. Like, because I started reflecting on myself and was like, what can I do to be a better person? Like, I never really thought that I did anything wrong in that relationship. It was just kind of like, I noticed like I'm very stern, I'm mean seeming, like people like would say that kind of to me, you know, but like I noticed it within myself, and like I was trying to figure out a way to develop myself and like better myself and like figure out a way out of my rut. And so I had a goal of like meditating every day and like being nice, like having like at least like one moment throughout every day like to be nice to someone and like help them. And so positivity was another huge thing, because like everyone knows how much of a pessimist I am.
It's an iconic trait.
Yeah, so that was another thing I was trying to
Shed.
yeah. I mean, it's hard when you're such a pessimist to find like positive outlooks and things. So I was really trying to find ways to develop in that sense, and like it took me a really long time. And like one of the things that I told you, one of the things that helped me like click to like start changing was getting that book I got, the like
That you only got what, 20 something pages in?
yeah, I didn't get too far, and it was like how to expect how to expect change you weren't expecting, or like how to something weird like that. And I started reading it, and I was like actually like trying to like focus on like what the book was saying, and then I was like, why the heck am I reading this? Like I don't need this book to tell me like how to deal with this. And so that's when I like made my switch to like focus on myself and better myself. And so with like that positivity and everything, like I don't feel like I had as many people like saying that I was as mean or like intimidating. And so I really just like focused on myself, and somehow in the process of it really just helped me develop. And like, I just kind of like, I stopped dating for a while and like just really did lay down on just focusing on me and like not really caring what like other people had to say about it. Like if people are like, oh, well, why aren't you doing this or doing that? And I was like, I just need myself and like focus on myself. So I think that was like my huge turning point for a lot of my emotions. And so like after that, my junior year, I just kind of did my own thing and like had a good time and just like tried to forget about my ex and move on. And then junior, second semester, just kind of kept going with it. And then by spring break, that's actually like when I met my boyfriend, my current boyfriend. Our story is a crazy story. But
I do remember a bit that you told me.
Yeah, a lot happened within that first 2 weeks of getting to know each other, including spring break part of that week. And so it was funny because like both of us were kind of like in place, like we were kind of in the same places of our lives. And he just flat out told me that like he wants to date me and like he'll wait until I'm ready to start dating him. And so one of the reasons like it took me so long to agree to finally like be boyfriend and girlfriend was because like how much at the time he seemed like my ex. And it was one of those things where I was like, I just like I can't get over like those facts, like those things. Like it's like, and it was all like really stupid stuff too. Yeah. It was like he was in a fraternity, he was military, he had a dog. It was just like
He had a dog.
No, it's a thing.
The other two don't ever.
He had 2 eyes and breathed.
Not everyone has a dog at college, okay? But no, it was just like little things like that where it was like, and then like every now and then he'd say something that would literally, I was like, oh my God, this is my ex. And so I told him, I was like, I just need more time and like.
Fucking props to your boyfriend for going like for like sticking through that because like that's got to be hard to hear.
Well, it was for him, and he even told me like little like afterwards and stuff. He was like, yeah, like I actually was like starting to think that it wasn't worth it, and like he was like, I didn't know like how much longer I really could wait. And so for my boyfriend, like the month of April is like really hard for him just because of like things that have happened in the past, things like that. And so it was during April that he was like asking me to be his girlfriend and things like that. And I knew that April wasn't a good month for him. And I didn't want to be associated with April if like we were to break up or something, you know? And so I was really trying to push for May 1st. And it was like, well, actually, I know what day it was. It was April 29th, like the night of April 29th. And I was going to Connecticut with him for his cousin's like college graduation. Yeah, don't ask me why I went on a trip with him so early, but it happened.
I mean, you're friends, like, and you have somewhat of an interest. I don't see a problem with that.
Yeah. Well,
how long have you guys known each other at that point?
At that point, like a month and a half.
That's depending on the amount of time you guys spent together. It's a decent amount of time.
I mean, we were spending like every day together.
Oh, so yeah, that's chill.
That's what I was going to say.
But I met his entire family.
Yeah, you're salt.
On the strip.
Oh, you went ham.
Like his entire family.
Oh, you went ham.
Yeah. So
I don't want to be in a relationship. I don't want to be in it. I don't want to be in it. And then it's like meet family, like a month after knowing the guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Basically.
You switched your mind up real fast.
Real quick before you like continue, how fast from the point you guys met did he decide that he wanted you to be his girlfriend?
Almost like immediately.
Really?
Yeah.
Like within that day? So
it's kind of weird. So our spring break trip we had been planning since November. And so my ex-roommate, yeah, that's another story.
Not old roommate.
My ex-roommate. Her boyfriend is in the same fraternity as my boyfriend. And so I had asked her way ahead of time. I was like, hey, like, can we do something for spring break? Blah, blah, blah. And she's like, yeah. And then like, it was just us two and then a bunch of fraternity guys. Because like her boyfriend. Like,
yeah. Single cat and the frat.
No, those guys actually like were talking about like, oh, so who's gonna get with Katherine because she's single. There were also only like 2 out of those guys that were single. One being one that I had already slept with, and the other being my current boyfriend. It's okay though.
Who's behind curtain 1? You again. Who's behind curtain 2?
Hey,
Date me.
my boyfriend though did do bro code and like made sure it was fine with him ahead of time. you know?
Wow. Hell yeah.
Props to you, Ryan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Serious props to your boyfriend. Dude, like, really, like, fucking stuck through it.
Yeah. And then a bunch of stuff happened on spring break, and then stuff happened immediately after spring break. I can go into detail. I don't know if you guys really want details.
Everybody loves stuff. Everybody can fill in the blanks.
But originally, like, within, like, the first day he met you, he wanted to date you?
Yeah, so we met ahead of time, not like formally, just kind of like,
High and by?
we're like, hey, we're all going on the same trip. And then the first day on the trip was like our drive to Kentucky. And so like literally I knew my ex-roommate and her boyfriend, and I knew like no one else really. So I just kind of was like awkwardly there, sitting in the back seat with everyone. And I was like, yeah, cool guys. And so like the next day we did the Bourbon Trail, which if you didn't do, that's something you can do in Kentucky. It's a lot of bourbon if you go to a lot of places, and it kind of gets really exhausting after like the second place you go to.
How many places?
We only did 3.
Uh-huh.
By the second one, I was like, I really don't want to drink this. Like,
Yeah.
And then the third one, I didn't even drink it. Like, I was like, I just want my glass and I'm good. Like, but so then that day, I like started gravitating towards my boyfriend and like just was like trying to like talk more to the guys and like just have someone I can like talk with. That's not the couple that was there, you know?
Right.
And so, so yeah, then we drove to Nashville, and yeah, that's when things like really started to kick off, and you know, we became like a couple on that trip.
Nice.
Damn, that's so fast. That's cool though, because it like stuck through.
Yeah. And so he was just like, actually, it wasn't that night that he said that he wanted to be like actually like be in a serious relationship with me. I think it was like a night or two following.
Damn, that's so fast though. That's cool.
Like,
Yeah.
It's really like old fashioned.
What do you mean?
Like that's kind of what you hear from like our grandparents' generation of like, oh, like they met at 19 and then got married in a month and then like, they've been together for 60 years, like type thing.
That's true.
And I don't really see a problem with it. I mean, back when I was a naive fucking high schooler, like I thought like, oh, you need to know the person for a long time. But in reality, I almost think that's kind of better to date somebody that you've only known for like kind of a short time, because you can get to know them through that whole process. Because like sometimes through friendships, things just get spoiled. They date other people. Like there's multiple things that can get in the way.
It's just the bigger risk is you don't know who you're going to date.
Of course. And I mean, obviously there's that, but I don't see a problem with it, especially
No,
like,
definitely not. I think it's cool.
If you see in a month and a half that you've spent every day with that person versus like knowing somebody for a year and seeing them like 2 or 3 times a month, it equates to the same amount of time, really.
Yeah.
So I don't see a problem with that.
Yeah. So
Yeah, your boyfriend played a huge role in, I assume, in changing you.
not like a ton, but he's definitely like helped me realize like to have like my own self-confidence. Like
That's awesome.
I'm like a very like independent person. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I've always been like, just, I'm cool with myself, you know? But like, I've never really thought of myself as like anything highly or things like that. Like, I'm just kind of like middle ground, like whatever. And like, so like being in the relationship with him, he's actually been like super encouraging with like always telling me like how proud he is of me or like how smart I am, things like that. And so like, I've never really had anyone else like that I've been dating do that.
Positive reinforcement goes a long way.
Yeah. And so that's been like a huge thing. Like that's like really helped me just like with my own self-confidence. So like I kind of did like my own development through like my empathy and like being able to express myself and have emotions and stuff like on my own. And then with my boyfriend, just kind of like learn to gain self-confidence and like feel better about myself and not like be putting myself down as much.
Do you think the positive reinforcement was what helped you build your confidence? Or if it wasn't
Or
that, do you
in
think you
addition
can,
to-
or do you think you can put like a finger on what like the most like the biggest key factor was?
I think he's just been like a huge factor in like realizing like encouragement from people. because you know, like when people just kind of like give compliments left and right, like kind of like, oh, like you look so pretty or whatever.
They're kind of like it's
kind of like a forced compliment.
It's like a hello and a goodbye. They just say it.
Like, oh, you look so cute. I love your outfit.
It doesn't seem thought through. Like it doesn't seem personal.
Just word vomit.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like coming from my boyfriend, like I know he like actually means like what he's saying, and like it's just been like a very different vibe of like what someone could like tell you. Yeah. I don't know if that really answered your question.
A little bit. It sufficed.
I beat around the bush sometimes, sorry.
No, you're fine.
That's how I do interviews too. Go way around.
You'd be a great politician.
Oh. My boyfriend's told me to be a politician, and I was like, no, thank you. I don't do politics.
Yet, until they start affecting the biomedical engineer field, and then you're hopping right in it.
She'll just switch up.
I'll dip.
I'll go do something else.
I don't do politics.
I need to actually check the computer because I need to make sure that like things aren't just randomly pausing.
Okay.
So, I guess to like wrap up the entirety of the point, like, what do you think are some qualities that you have like almost lost completely, and ones that have replaced it?
That's kind of hard because I do still have a lot of like my old self. It's just not as like noticeable.
Like there's more built on top of it.
Yeah. So like I said, like empathy and like really like developing that more. Like I still sometimes am just like, whatever, you know, like to like what something's like going on. But I would definitely say like I've just become a person who's like a lot more like open with my emotions. More in the sense of like actually being able to understand like how to explain it.
Okay, so you're like you have like a more clarity with your emotions.
Yeah, like I know like
rather than just
what's bothering me and like
rather than just like feeling these like overwhelming feelings, you actually kind of have like an idea of what's rooted where and why it's happening and where it's coming from.
Yeah, and like I know how to actually like express myself. I cry a lot. Which really sucks, but
it's so un-Katherine of you from like old
it
Katherine.
Is. I was told though I'm not an ugly crier, so
that's good.
Woo me, but I do cry a lot now. I was crying watching MasterChef Junior yesterday. And it was just like, it was for like the dumbest reasons, but like,
hi little buddy, these onions aren't chopped enough.
No, it was the finale, and like the parents were talking so highly of their little kids and like how proud they were, and like it just was really hitting me.
I'm right there with you, dude. I fucking cry all the goddamn time. It's really annoying.
Yeah.
It's like obviously I'm like, okay, I feel good. Like that's now out of my system. I guess I didn't really need to. Like there wasn't anything to hold in, but I didn't even know it was there. Like especially with these America Got Talent videos on fucking Twitter. I'm tired.
Tired. The violin boy.
I'm tired of this shit.
The violin boy. Oh my god.
Like
I had to fast forward. I was like, I can't do it. And then he was like dancing to the song, and the song was just like so perfect with this whole situation. And I was like, I can't
buzzer,
do it.
and then the second all that happens, like it's this little kid that gets picked on in elementary because he has cancer.
Holy shit.
The little boy has cancer.
And so he was constantly like lost and just didn't feel like he fit in anywhere. Nobody accepted him. And then he took one class and picked up the violin, and it just like it took off. It took off.
Yeah, and like the mom said like no one plays instruments in their family either.
And he
little prodigy
fucking murders on the violin, dude.
It was like the what kills you makes you stronger, or what doesn't kill you make you stronger.
That was very wrong. To that and he was dancing hard.
Yeah.
It was like not like he was whipping his fucking head everywhere. Yeah. I'm like, how can you play and do that at the same time? And Simon hits the golden buzzer and just came pouring out of me. I was like, this is...
I was crying like during the thing. Like, I didn't even get to the golden buzzer. I closed the video because I was crying already.
It was like that part. I'm like, okay, this is really sad. I'm going to hold this part back. I can do this. And then when Simon hits it and the kid's crying and the dude, when I started like, it hit me hard was when he got on the microphone and they were like, how do you feel right now? And he said, I'm feeling very proud of myself. And I just like starting to, my eyes are getting watery now thinking about it. But then the other fucking kid who has autism, And he was playing the piano.
That was playing the piano and singing.
The second he let out a note, I started crying. I was like, and Dalton it was like 1 a.m. I'm like, okay, Twitter really quick, go to bed like I normally do. And I clicked that. I literally had to get up and go wash my face and get tissues because I was bawling in my bed. I'm like, I just want to go to bed.
Man,
but
I feel your pain. I cry randomly.
It's
like
very
there's
annoying.
no reason.
Nope.
And I just cry and I'm like,
and it's one of those things where it's like, okay, so and. What, I was actually talking to your brother today, Josh. Hold on. I actually have to read these texts because it leads up to a point.
Dude, I don't cry like much at all, but I think like this is the nerdiest thing I'm ever going to say, but I think Avengers Endgame broke my seal.
Well, not the first time though.
No, like the first time I shed like a couple tears, and then I saw it again, and I was bawling my eyes out. At the end of the movie, I was crying hard.
No,
and
have you seen it?
I don't watch superhero movies.
It doesn't matter.
So then you don't understand.
Well,
you would.
It's
cry.
11 years of people's lives, and there's a main thing that happens that I still don't want to say for anybody that hasn't seen it. But this has been long enough, but still. But there's something that happens, and everybody in that fucking theater, if they weren't extremely sad, they were crying. There were so many people behind me
my
sniffling.
face was wet.
Like, it's sad as
Interesting.
it genuinely, because the acting is perfect.
And just like the overall like conclusion it comes to, it's just graceful and devastating at the same time. And so like since that, like there have been little things here and there that like I choke up at now, and I'm like that wouldn't have gotten me to cry prior to like Endgame. That's like the fucking point for me. That's year 0. But our friend, fucking one of our guests that we've had, Francisco, recently got proposed to his girlfriend like literally the other day in Hawaii. And like I saw the video of him like proposing and everything, and his girlfriend's reaction and his reaction. I was like like choking up like at the Instagram
proposals make me cry too. And
Dude.
it's like, I know what's happening.
Yeah.
Francisco, I already called you, but congratulations.
Yeah,
my
fucking
man.
shout out to Francisco.
Very
That shit's
proud of you.
awesome. Your text.
Yeah, with your brother. Because I've been asking if I could borrow Zelda because I just want to buy. I just fucking
You
bought
want
it.
to
Breath of the
see
Wild.
if you want to buy it? Or
No,
you,
I know I want to
legit,
buy it. I just want to see if anybody would like, oh, you done
Love
with
it.
it? Can I borrow it? Can I buy it? Whatever.
gotcha.
And so he said that he's still playing it, whatever. And I was like, understandable. I'm slashing your tires though. And he was like, I guess I'm stealing your car then. I said, Josh, let's be real here. I said, you're too nice. You would let me slash your tires.
Oh my gosh.
And you taking my car, you'd feel bad for some reason. And he said, okay, says the most polite and emotional person of the two of us. And he said, I'm pretty sure we both know I'm the heartless one here. And I sent that emoji. I said, you take that back. And I was just like, I started thinking about it. I
Damn,
forget
Josh is making clapbacks at you.
Oh,
The dude
yeah.
who doesn't talk much at all.
Yeah. And so, what's his name? The coworker, my old coworker, your current coworker, you guys.
Sean?
No, you got close with.
Francisco?
I can't remember his name. He kits with you. I don't know why.
Jerry?
I feel bad that I forgot Jerry's name, but Jerry, like,
I'm showing him this part.
Okay.
Oh, that's fine. But Jerry, when he said like, oh, I didn't know he was that emotional. Like, I'm realizing over time that people were like, wow, you're too emotional. I'm like, no, dude, I'm perfectly fine exactly where I'm at. Like,
Dude, every single episode Jerry listens to, he takes off a headphone, looks at me, and he's like, dude, Nick's an emotional guy, huh?
and that's
He's
why
like-
I didn't remember
he's
your
like-
name, Jerry.
He's like, every episode I listen to, he talks about crying.
I just pulled out my little name book and I crossed out his name and I
He
forgot
crossed
it.
out the name that wasn't there. It's just a blank
my
space. You're just putting a line through it.
Ex-coworker.
So, but what I'm getting at with you and like what I've just kind of grown to accept is like when I was a kid, I was extremely fucking emotional. Like, cried at everything, was really fucking odd, as I've explained in past episodes. Like, my family, like, I remember my family would say shit that. Okay, one of the things my brothers used to tell me to literally just make me cry, because if I went biking around the neighborhood, there was an exit, obviously, to the neighborhood, to the main street. And every time I'd go out there, there was a new dead cat.
What?
And so, cats would get obliterated on this road. I mean, every time it was
Every time
a
I went
different
out,
cat.
there was a new dead cat.
And I
How many
remember
cats were in your neighborhood?
Not
Jesus.
many after the end of it.
straight up, we had somewhere around 30 to 40 cats in our backyard once.
What
because
the
they
hell?
they can breed with each other like
Yeah.
families. So they just kept breeding in our
Oh my
backyard.
God.
There were literally litters. Like there was one in the gutter of the roof of the house. There was one in the
Wow.
back bush. There was one in the side of the house. And then there was like 7 cats at a time.
What the fuck?
And all these litters had 5 to 6 cats.
Oh my God.
my.
Yeah.
There were a lot of fucking cats. And so sometimes they would be our
infestation.
cats just fucking obliterated on the road. So it would make me
Oh.
cry. And I'd go home, I'd bike home as fast as I could, fucking tears streaming down my face. I'd go run to my mom and she'd have to calm me down for like 30 minutes. So my
Who let
brothers
Nikki bike again?
so my brothers would say, and they're probably going to listen to this and be like, fuck. They would say like, oh yeah, we put cats in duffel bags and throw them up into the sky and just let them hit the floor. And I would cry my fucking eyes out. My brothers used to beat the shit out of each other. So I'd cry during that. Like everything made me cry until like one day my brothers just fucking shattered every bit of emotion in my body, whether that was through video games and torturing me until like I wasn't crying anymore, or them just telling me to toughen the fuck up, all the stuff our family went through, everything. So all of that, like, and now I'm at this point where I just like, yeah, dude, I'm emotional. I don't give a shit. That doesn't mean that doesn't make me weak. That doesn't mean I can't fight. That doesn't mean I don't make my own money.
I'll beat your ass and cry at the same time, bro. You made me
like,
do this.
Like I have my own apartment. I have my own car. Like that doesn't make. I hate when people go like, "Oh, you're emotional." Get the fuck out of here. You're not. Like, what's wrong with you?
I know
like,
how
if
to
you,
express myself.
if you don't feel things like that, I find weird. If you don't cry all the time, that's fine. Whatever. You don't have to. But like, there's different levels of expressing it. So it is very annoying.
You seem a little
but
defensive
it
on
is.
it.
I'm defensive on it because of the way that it's portrayed that like dudes
It's
can't
like-
be
like
emotional.
emotion
I
is
think,
weakness.
I think that's the
Yes.
main thing is
Yeah.
because you are a guy where everyone's like, guys don't really cry.
Yeah, guys
if
don't
they cry, it's like,
Like-
once every 5 years.
And the
like,
thing is like when I say like I cry at a lot of different times, a lot throughout the fucking week, it's not random. I'm not sitting in my room like my day's hard. It's literally watching fucking America's Got Talent
Sounds
videos.
kinda random.
Like I'll be on Twitter and I'll just be like, great, here's another video, but I really want to see it. And I'll just be like, I'm gonna sign up to cry here. I haven't listened to Tessa's episode because that's gonna make me cry.
oh
Like
my gosh, that had me bawling.
see, that's but I don't go out of my I don't look at things on my computer like there's a sale on these things, right? Like that doesn't make
It's
me
just like little
emotional.
things that like hit you where you're just
Yeah.
like, oh, this is like such like a story where it's like it's either like super happy or
Yeah.
like super sad where it's like you just get emotional
like
about it.
Yeah.
coming home videos,
Oh, like
Oh my
military.
gosh. Oh,
ball my eyes out. I don't give a fuck.
I remember I came over for a podcast we were about to record. You're like, bro, dude, I was listening to this choir cover of Architect song,
okay.
and I was doing fine, and then they just hit this pitch, and I just started crying.
And so
my gosh.
and every time it's played, it's Choir Noir, something like that, I think
Yeah.
is their name. And they did a cover of this song by this band Architects called Doomsday.
okay.
And it's about their guitarist who died.
Who's the singer's brother, right?
It was he was the guitarist, the drummer's brother. The drummer and the guitarist were brothers, and these guys have all grown up together,
Yeah.
and he died of cancer.
Oh.
And they had
Oh, God.
albums dedicated to cancer. They had albums dedicated, and this newest album is dedicated to their brother that died.
Yeah.
And that song in particular has very strong lyrics. When I first heard that song, that song fucking brought tears to my eyes. Like I listened to it, no joke, on my drive home from LA. It had come out that night. It was an hour and a half. I listened to it on repeat the entire way home. And it's just that good. So the choir hits, and I'll show you after this
Okay.
podcast if we remember, because I mean we're almost at 3 hours anyway. They hit this note, and every single time when I showed him, just instantly start tearing up. I can't
Yeah.
control it. It's just some weird note that they hit, and I'm like, there it is. Like I don't know, it's weird.
No, I'm the same way. Certain songs, they'll just like hit me and I'll just like start like tearing up and I'm like, why am I doing this? Like I shouldn't be crying to this. But it's just like the lyrics and like the tune of everything and
Yeah.
you're just like,
My brother Chris has only one. Like it's not one thing. Like I think he got emotional over the birth of his son, but he doesn't like get very emotional over
Yeah.
things. And that's just something we've always known. We've always talked about. Over the Rainbow.
yeah.
I think it's the one with the guy who
The Hawaiian version?
Yes, I think that's the one. He said that one gets him teary-eyed every time.
I love the Hawaiian version.
It's
one.
so good.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's so weird that the one thing that like he's like, no, that will get me every single time. And he's just not a person to show it.
He eats spoonfuls of wasabi and doesn't even tear up. That should say something on itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's you feel I honestly, dude, you fucking killed it.
Yeah,
like you really did. You had story after fucking story.
I'm just glad that I actually told stories in a decent manner. I'm very bad at telling stories. You can ask my boyfriend. He literally will look at me while like I finish a story and he's like, "That's it?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that was it." He's like, "Well, okay then."
Like I'm there's no intro, there's no ending.
Yeah,
there's just the body of
I'm
the
basically
story.
no, I'm like all exposition and like that's it.
That I think the only like there's someone that comes to mind that's like kind of bad at telling stories, and no like disrespect to him, but like our friend Dalton, like he would. I remember him talking to one of the accounts of remember when Danny was on, we talked about like our like I had a hookup at the same time he had a hookup with these girls that we met at a party. He was telling the story of how it happened and legit straight faced, not giving any emotion, not really giving into the story at all, was just like, yeah, and so we were like making out and then I was like, give me head, and she was like, okay, and then she gave me head. And
Jesus Christ.
I started dying. I was like, you can't just present it like that. Like I was like, give me head, and she was like, okay.
But I think you absolutely like. I was genuinely impressed this entire time.
Well, thank you.
Yeah,
I'm a good presenter. I mean, that's one of my strong skills is actually like presenting in front of people and stuff. So like for me, like talking into a microphone is absolutely nothing. I mean, emceed pep rallies.
Oh yeah, pep rally partners right here.
Yeah, that was actually the only pep rally I actually wanted to do. I didn't MC a single pep rally until homecoming senior year,
and that one was fucking fun.
And then I had to MC a finale rally because everything got messed up, and I was like, okay, I'll MC. And then I lost my shoe.
Oh,
I lost my shoe that pep rally.
That reminds me. Sorry, I don't.
Sorry, no, it's okay. This is just completely random.
No. It has something to do with that. How like we were talking about how I badgered you guys about like you guys should be together, not just because you guys are dating different people now, but knowing who you are now. Actually knowing you guys as individuals. Yeah, no, I now understand. Like totally get why like you guys were like, no, it's just not. That's not a thing.
Yeah, we knew it.
But back then I didn't.
And it was primarily because our zodiac signs didn't line up.
That was a conversation that we had before this fucking podcast, and that is a great way to end it. So again, thank you for coming on, dude.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me, guys.
This was episode 25.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it was.
I'm getting better.
A quarter to 100.
Huh?
Hell yeah.
A quarter to 100.
A quarter to 100.
Yep.
I thought you said recording till 100. I was like, yeah, that's the goal.
No,
and then we just drop it.
Quarter.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. That was the Nick and Tub podcast. See you again never.
Yeah. Sorry if I turned you guys all off from listening to this podcast.
Oh, that shit was funny.
Just remember, gentlemen, if you're out there, you've jacked off to all of your girlfriends except one.
Oh, God.
Okay. That's a good way to end it. So thank you guys for tuning back in. Kat, thank you for being on. Appreciate you.
Of course.
All right. And we'll see you guys next time.
Later.
Bye.